Chapter 506, CO Rant's Family 1. First, if there are any tainted soul filling the heavens embedded within me, remove and reclaim them. The same goes for my comrades. At those words, CO Huiol nods slightly. Chwereric. From me and my shadow, an overwhelming amount of dark, shadow-like entities flow out and return to CO Huiol. This insane bastard. I click my tongue at the sheer number of tainted soul filling the heavens CO Huiol had hidden. No matter how well-suited tainted soul filling the heavens is for hiding in the darkness or how difficult it is to detect, this is truly ridiculous. I've always sensed the presence of tainted soul filling the heavens before, but I never imagined there were this many. Truly, he is someone who cannot be underestimated. State your purpose, CO Huiol. There is truth within the head realm, and approaching that ultimate truth, that is my goal. I glare at him. And what do you intend to do once you obtain that truth? I won't tolerate lies. At my words, CO Huiol briefly stares at me with a chilling gaze before opening his mouth. I can't say. Have you forgotten who holds your lifeline? When I envelop CO Rant's surroundings with even more power of the netherworld, CO Huiol mutters. My true purpose. My past. As long as you don't ask about these two things, I'll help you obtain whatever else you need. However, these two are the only things I can never speak of to anyone. If you insist on knowing these truths and use CO Rant as leverage to threaten me, I will use all the tainted soul filling the heavens I've amassed until now to ruin your mind. CO Huiol's eyes turn hollow in a way I've never seen before. Don't corner me, CO Unhyun. Even if I die today, I can destroy everything you hold dear before I go. You wouldn't want that either, would you? Fine then. I'll learn bit by bit. I smile faintly and ask, what exactly is CO Rant's true identity? Why is CO Rant the pillar of your tainted soul filling the heavens? At my words, CO Rant's eyes widen to the point of popping out. Senior, what on earth are you talking about? I'll explain later. CO Huiol, briefly contemplating for a moment, opens his mouth with an expressionless gaze. CO Rant is my childhood. To be precise, he is the embodiment of the emotions and purity from a time when I believed myself to be an ordinary human child. That is CO Rant. If tainted soul filling the heavens is the scattering of the configurations of the memories of my life into the world, CO Rant is the separation and preservation of only the happiness and emotions I experienced during childhood. You believed yourself to be an ordinary human child? What do you mean by that? I told you not to ask about the past. His gaze grows hollow once more. It's clear. This guy is undoubtedly cornered right now. That hollow gaze, which he has never shown before, reveals it all. I need to handle this carefully. I sense that if provoked, he will unleash tainted soul filling the heavens into a rampage at any moment. To what extent does your rule about not asking about your past apply? Does it include yesterday? It doesn't. So it's not your entire past, but a specific point in time that you're referring to. That specific point must be, I see. Since you yourself liken CO Rant to your childhood, the childhood you speak of must be what you're referring to as your past. In that case, as long as I don't ask about your childhood, I can question you about other matters, correct? Correct. CO Huiol stares at me as he answers. Childhood. Suddenly, the image of CO Rant from Penglai Island flashes in my mind. Back on Penglai Island, CO Rant was oddly depicted not as a member of the sea dragon race, but as a human orphan beggar. Now I finally understand the reason. CO Rant is the childhood persona of CO Huiol. And if CO Huiol's childhood persona is that of a human child, it was because CO Rant possessed a human identity that he appeared as a human on Penglai Island. I ask CO Huiol, there's something I'm curious about. Why, then, have you been trying to kill CO Rant all this time? The biggest question. If CO Rant is CO Huiol's main body, why has he been trying to kill him until now? CO Rant was the original soul I possessed. A soul containing nothing but the emotions and purity of my childhood. But at the same time, as he is the pillar of tainted soul filling the heavens, he was originally meant to serve as its foundation and have my persona overlaid upon him. As CO Huiol spills this truth, he appears darker and more hollow than ever before. An appearance brimming with venom. If I provoke him right now, it looks like something big might happen. But an error occurred in tainted soul filling the heavens. After placing my main body inside Yuo's body, my main body became distorted as it absorbed Yuo's emotions. As a result, instead of the persona of me who was supposed to originally grow, a new persona emerged. And that new persona took on a new name. That is CO Rant. Yuo's emotions? What emotions did he absorb? The biological responses that occur when a living being reproduces and conceives offspring. The emotion commonly referred to as maternal love. Grin. A smile appears on CO Huiol's face. It is the most grotesque smile he has ever shown. The corners of his mouth pulled back so far that his gums are exposed. yet his eyes do not smile at all. It is a smile that resembles a machine imitating a human expression. Out of all the smiles I've seen from Co Huiol across countless cycles, this grotesque smile feels like his most genuine smile. It's amusing. The emotions of a mere living being disrupting immortal arts. Then again, the UO was that UO, so perhaps she used some unknown immortal art to flaw tainted soul filling the heavens. Watching Co Ran grow, I realized my plan had failed. Originally, it was an attempt to erode UO, but instead, my main body was eroded by her tricks and mutated strangely. So, I began devising a plan to fix the broken main body. From his mouth, the truth about the endless traps Co Huiol laid finally spills out. The mutated main body acted just like an ordinary child. From its behavior to all of its psychological states, everything pointed to it being an ordinary existence. So, I decided to break it the way one would break any ordinary existence. First, I orchestrated the bullying of Co Ran to make him suffer from depression. By breaking Co Ran's personality, I intended to push him to commit suicide at the end, thereby resetting my main body. As each of Co Huiol's schemes are revealed, Co Ran's pupils begin to shake madly. He continues his explanation. However, another variable arose in the plan. It was John Hyang. Corrupted after witnessing the truth of the head realm, John Hyang suddenly stopped being affected by my tainted soul filling the heavens. Contrary to my plans, she comforted Co Ran's mind. In the end, I failed to break Co Ran's personality and drive him to suicide. So as a last resort, I handed Co Ran a self-destruct magic artifact, intending to obliterate him along with the nether-crossing ship. The self-destruct magic artifact was supposed to crush his body along with his memories and personality. Hearing the cruel truth spill from his mouth, Co Ran trembles like an aspen tree. Through heart language, I ask Co Ran in a way that Co Huiol cannot hear. If this is too difficult to listen to, speak through your heart. I will shield you from hearing it. However, Co Ran clenches his teeth and speaks in his heart. Please let me hear it. I will endure it. Understood. Co Ran asks in a trembling voice. Were you mandating me to destroy the nether crossing ship to liberate the soul of the sea dragon race warrior? Co Huiol closes his mouth in response to Co Ran's question, and I speak to him. Answer Co Ran's question as well. That nascent soul of the nascent soul sea dragon race warrior was merely a tool I prepared to reclaim my own soul. After all, a physical body holds no meaning for me. Instead, the spiritual body formed from a nascent soul is far more useful. I intended to obliterate your body, reset you, and then use the nascent soul of the sea dragon race warrior to implant the correct personality into you. Afterwards, I would remove the soul within the nascent soul and replace it with yours. That way, I could once again possess a correct main body. At this point, I no longer hold Co Ran by the neck. In any case, as long as he remains within the small dimension I have created, it is no different from being in the palm of my hand. I can release him to the netherworld at any time. Co Ran screams at those words. Just what is a correct main body? Are you saying that my entire life is wrong? That's right, it's wrong. Co Huiol speaks with hollow eyes. Co Huiol's life is wrong, and the life of the failure named Co Ran is also wrong. The error has grown and grown, and before I knew it, reached the 4-axis stage. As expected, I should have used even more extreme methods to reset the main body. Just what is your purpose? For what purpose are you so freely calling me wrong? Just what is it? It's at that moment. Co Huiol's lips move. When I asked him before, Co Huiol said he would never speak of his purpose. But is it because it's Co Ran's question? Co Huiol, though not fully, answers his question. To find an answer. To find an answer to this hatred. Hatred? What hatred are you talking about? There is none right now. Not within you, not within me. Only when the me who holds the memory and the you who possesses the essence integrate will this hatred emerge. And I must find an answer to it. That is my purpose. Just why is something like that so important? At those words, Co Huiol lets out a grotesque laugh, his gaze pitch black as if entirely devoid of pupils. Would you even understand? The vow I made upon your soul. The heart to fulfill my purpose even if it means destroying the world. Don't open your mouth recklessly when you know nothing. You faked. Baduduk. Veins bulge on Co Ran's face. I am not a fake. He trembles uncontrollably, clenching his fists tightly as if trying to suppress his anger. Seeing that he might need time, I continue questioning Co Huiol. Uo, the disciple of Black Ghost Valley that Song Jin cherished. Who is she? Uo is, obviously Uo. Co Huiol points upward with his finger and speaks. Sacred Master of the Nether Ghost Realm, Uo. Dispatched to the head realm under the command of the underworld. She was the Sacred Master's fragment. But at the same time, split from her connection to the main body due to the head realm's corruption, giving rise to reason, survival instincts, and emotions. She was someone who trembled in fear of death and desperately tried to ascend again through whatever means, a mere ordinary woman. That is Seo Ran's mother. A pawn I intended to use to erode Yuo's main body. That is Yuo's identity. Seo Huiol continues speaking without pause. Do you understand, Seo Ran? To erode Yuo, I scattered the soul of the child her fragment had conceived and inserted my main body to erode the sacred master. The result is you. You are the one who killed the Seo Ran who was meant to be born, taking their place. You are nothing but a monster. Chapter 507, Seo Ran's Family, 2. Seo Ran is trembling. I look at Seo Ran's heart essence and step forward, momentarily pulling him back. Don't meet Seo Huiol's gaze, Seo Ran. Beyond that empty nothingness, those hollow eyes that draw the opponent into their eerie emptiness. It's not as if he's using any sort of enchantment or a special technique. Yet anyone who meets his gaze starts to feel their mental strength deplete. Perhaps this, too, is a kind of immortal art. If wielding the heart is considered an immortal art, then those eyes, stripped of emotion, yet seeking for a sense of feeling, could perhaps also be categorized as such. Since I am still not at the level where I can properly utilize immortal arts, I can't say for certain. Blocking the space between Seo Ran and Seo Huiol for a moment, I question him. This is strange. If what you say is true, wouldn't it have been easier to just send one of your subordinates to kill Seo Ran? At my question, Seo Huiol responds with an expressionless face. I've tried. Over 600 million times. The number is far beyond what I expected, but all of them failed. What's the reason? It's partly because of you. But the biggest reason is that Seo Ran, as the core of tainted soul filling the heavens, unconsciously wields it himself. His words spark something in my mind. When I sent subordinates to assassinate Seo Ran, every time, other forces coincidentally invaded the area and caused wars that killed my subordinates. When I took all precautions and sent subordinates again, they failed to kill Seo Ran for truly absurd reasons. They either mistook a sea dragon race in the next room for Seo Ran, or they got distracted and lost their minds coupling with a passing seahorse maiden. Or, while dealing with the Mad Lord, they died after randomly touching a puppet trap. Or, inexplicably, they realized the futility of life while standing before the sleeping Seo Ran, discarded their weapon, abandoned the assassination, and decided to become a wandering hermit. There's also the time when someone like Yuk Rin, who initially had no interest in Yukyo, suddenly became obsessed with her, as Seo Ran desired, relentlessly tormenting both she and Baek Rin. Is this not a situation where the world seems to revolve around Seo Ran? Seo Ran, however faintly, knows how to use tainted soul filling the heavens. Because of that, it's impossible to use someone to kill Seo Ran. Even accidental deaths caused by layered coincidences are impossible. Someone nearby will always coincidentally end up being the one harmed instead of Seo Ran. That is tainted soul filling the heavens. Then, in the end, why don't you just kill him with your own hands? At my words, Seo Huiol looks up at me. Grin. He gives me that peculiar grotesque smile of his again. The main body, the core, the pillar of tainted soul filling the heavens. Do you know why I call that thing by those names? As his words continue, I feel an inexplicable unease. It's because it's important. I have no emotions, no heart, but I have memories. The memories of how precious the emotions during my childhood were remain in me. All the configurations of Seo Huiol spread across the sun and moon heavenly domain are united by this central point of cherishing those emotions. If the core is lost, then we will all scatter as separate entities that happen to share the origin called Seo Huiol. If that happens, it's over. Each and every Seo Huiol will regain their memories, ego, and emotions, while all the preserved memories and vows of Seo Huiol will be forgotten. Therefore, from the very start, the configurations derived from tainted soul filling the heavens must be bound by the absolute rule that the entity containing the most precious thing cannot be attacked directly. In other words, for Seo Huiol to erase the existence of Seo Ran, he can only guide the collapse of Seo Ran's personality. The only one who can kill Seo Ran is Seo Ran himself. For now, let's continue this conversation elsewhere. The time for hidden heavens beyond the path is running out. Soon, the sacred masters will rush to this place. Provide me with a place to hide from the sacred masters, Seo Huiol. In truth, I doubt there's such a place in the sun and moon heavenly domain. After all, the sacred masters of the middle realms are practically true immortals. It's only normal for there not to be a place to escape from 5 true immortals. However, for some reason, I feel like Seo Huiol might know of such a place. And as expected, Seo Huiol gives me an immediate answer. Go to the peaceful cloud realm. If it's there, you'll be able to hide sufficiently. Understood. Pot. After ejecting Co Huiol outside, I quickly take only Co Ran with me and board the path of stars to return to the peaceful cloud realm. Wu Wong. After shutting down the teleportation array in the peaceful cloud realm, I ask Co Huiol again. So, just hiding here won't be enough. What should I do, Co Huiol? Wu Wong. Co Huiol's figure emerges once again in the darkness and speaks to me. Why do you think the sacred masters are chasing only you and not those sacred vessel sisters from earlier, Co Unhyun? Why? It's because you're a freshly advanced, new sacred vessel. To appoint a successor for the Middle Realms, the sacred vessel must first be in a non-sacred master state. That is, they must not already be governing a domain such as a star system or a middle realm. Sacred vessels who have built experience to a certain extent can travel the astral realm and quickly harmonize with a fixed star using their own accumulated experience to become sacred masters of stellar systems. But you're different. Since you've never been a sacred master, they can capture you and immediately make you the sacred master of their middle realm. I noticed something strange in Co Huiol's words. Becoming a sacred master of a star system seems to require special experience. But becoming a sacred master of a middle realm is something that can happen instantly if they want it to. That's right. To be precise, sacred masters who manage the corpses of true immortals can make the appointment instantly. Co Huiol avoids saying middle realms and instead uses the term corpses of true immortals. From that, I feel like I can understand what he's implying. You don't tell me you're suggesting I become the sacred master of this peaceful cloud realm? I ask again, slightly taken aback. No. Is it even possible to become a sacred master of a decaying corpse realm? I thought it was only possible for middle realms. In the past, I wouldn't have acted so ignorant in front of Co Huiol. Revealing my lack of knowledge to him would have been akin to exposing my weaknesses. But now, it doesn't matter. I have control of his main body, so what could he possibly do? Co Huiol nods at my words. Decaying corpse realms can indeed serve as a training ground for sacred masters. If you become the sacred master of the peaceful cloud realm and hold a defensive battle here, even the sacred masters of the middle realms will only be able to scream in frustration and stomp their feet, unable to do anything. That's strange, but I've never heard of any sacred master cultivation methods involving the decaying corpse realms. Surely there's a reason why no one uses it. What are the side effects of cultivating as a sacred master through a decaying corpse realm? If, during your cultivation in the decaying corpse realm, you fail to properly supply the realm with energy, the sacred master can dissolve into the realm itself and become its nourishment. As expected, this guy is someone I can't let my guard down around. If I hadn't asked, he clearly wouldn't have uttered a single word about the side effects. Even now, when his lifeline is in my hands, this guy is subtly trying to pull his tricks. Co Huiol is Co Huiol. Just because I've got him by the throat doesn't mean I can let my guard down. Are there any other side effects of the decaying corpse realm cultivation that you haven't told me? That's all I know as of currently. Are there any other side effects with the peaceful cloud realm? As far as I know, the path of stars is formed by entering nirvana true persons disguising themselves. Annoyed by his subtle attempts to gloss over the truth of the peaceful cloud realm, I press him further. The peaceful cloud realm, strictly speaking, is not an entering nirvana true person. What? It's just a fragment of a true immortal's corpse that developed consciousness. When the power of that consciousness combines with the power of the peaceful cloud realm, it reaches a level equivalent to that of a true person, becoming the starting point of the path of stars. Wait, so, you're telling me to become the sacred master of the peaceful cloud realm, which still has consciousness? And what do you think that consciousness will do to me? It will show a favorable reaction. That I can guarantee. What? At his following words, I can't help but flinch in surprise. The peaceful cloud realm was originally one of the cultivation locations I found for Oh Hyaseo for after she advances to the sacred vessel stage. From the beginning, the will of the peaceful cloud realm seemed to show joy to Oh Hyaseo, saying it had been waiting for someone like her, a heavenly rejected, for a long time. It even said that when she, or anyone like her, becomes a sacred vessel, they should come find it anytime. It claimed it would embrace them. Swear it upon Co Ran. I swear it upon my childhood in Co Ran. This story is true. Moreover, I swear upon my main body that the peaceful cloud realm is safe. I nod and receive some additional information from Co Huiol. For now, rejecting the sacred master's proposals temporarily would be the most appropriate course of action. The sacred masters of the middle realms cannot relinquish their positions until a successor is chosen. However, in cases of sacred masters of decaying corpse realms, sacred masters, or star systems, according to Co Huiol, they can step down anytime within an appropriate time frame, even without successors. I have no intention of taking on the role of a sacred master until I overcome the end. Preparing for the end within the middle realms is a task the sacred masters should do. It's not something a fledgling sacred vessel like me can do. Rather, if I try to do so as a novice, I could lead countless living beings to their deaths. Therefore, taking over the position of Sacred Master of a middle realm must be postponed until at least 10,000 years later, after the beginning of the world starts. Honestly, even after the new world begins, I'm not sure if I'll take on the middle realm Sacred Master position. I do feel a bit sorry for Banta, but I clearly saw it. The symbol of the purple gold realm, inscribed with Radiance Hall. Whether the purple gold Heavenly Lord is a traitor or not, they were still part of the forces of light. It feels as unsettling as when Baekwoon gave me an esteemed one title. Becoming the Sacred Master of the purple gold realm might naturally give the forces of light a pretense. As long as there is no telling when the sword spear Heavenly Lord might reappear and molest my shoulders, it won't hurt to remain cautious. Therefore, after becoming the Sacred Master of the peaceful cloud realm, I will expand my options before taking on the middle realm Sacred Master position. While the Sacred Masters desperately searching for successors seem a little pitiful, I can't become their replacement out of mere sympathy. Wawoom. My celestial energy completely frees itself from the influence of hidden heavens beyond the path. And I also become aware that the Sacred Masters searching for me have succeeded in locating me through divination. Very well. I shall become the Sacred Master of the peaceful cloud realm right now. Wawoom. I then begin to synchronize my consciousness with the peaceful cloud realm. Far off in the astral realm, I can sense 5 Sacred Masters crossing space-time like mad to reach me. They have realized what I am doing. I reveal my main body. Wawoom. Having become the flow of the universe itself, I unveil my main body that is the orbit surrounding the sky above the peaceful cloud realm's peaceful continent. Synchronize the flow of the peaceful cloud realm with my own. I look at the sacred vessel formula handed to me by the 2 sisters. The sacred vessel cultivation formula is as follows. Through the activation of the 5 epics and 3 virtues, awaken the attraction force of the fate of 8 paths. Year, Soit. Month, Yit. Day, Ver. Hour, and calendar. And correctness, Jung. Strongness, Gong. And mildness, Ro. The sacred vessel formula is based on these 8 principles, supplemented by the commentary annotations of the sacred vessel Immortal Treasure Sisters. The early sacred vessel stage is the rotation of the nebula. Most sacred vessel sacred masters during this phase focus on the 5 epochs: year, month, day, hour, and calendar. One must acquire these 5 laws from the world, seize control of them, and establish them with one's own hands. Once the establishment of these laws is complete, the nebula condenses toward the center of the rotating ring, and light begins to emerge. The sacred master's main body gradually transforms into a fixed star, advancing to the mid-stage. The mid-stage is the fixed star. At this stage, the sacred master cultivates the attraction force of correctness, Jung, realizing the correctness and straightforwardness, Jungji, of attraction force. The late stage is the red giant stage. At this stage, the sacred master cultivates the attraction force of strongness, Gong, realizing the strong rule, Gongkirk, of attraction force. Grand perfection is the dwarf star. At this stage, the sacred master cultivates the attraction force of mildness, Ro, understanding the mild rule of attraction force. Throughout this entire process, the sacred master oversees the 8 necessities of life for the living beings within the world they govern. Food, sustenance. Wealth, economy. Sacrifice, ritual worship. Minister of works, territory. Minister of education, education and enlightenment. Minister of justice, law and order. Diplomacy, guests and foreign relations. Army, general. Using these 8 essentials for living beings and through their own life, the sacred master gradually elevates the principles to the plane of fate, or in the case of the earth tribe, completely descends to the plane of chi. Once the 8 paths, Badak, are completed, adding the royal perfection, Thangji, results in what is called an entering nirvana stage true person. In other words, the key to the sacred vessel stage is cultivating the 8 paths through the 5 epochs and 3 virtues. Wawoom. I begin to synchronize crystal glass to treading sea with the peaceful cloud realm. Crystal glass to treading sea great star seems to divide into 8 directions, revealing the 8 domains of the 8 paths I will cultivate in the future. Establishing the laws of the peaceful cloud realm through the 5 epochs and 3 virtues, and then cultivating the 8 paths. This is precisely what I must accomplish moving forward. Wawoom. Master, is there anything I can assist with? Hong Fan sends me a heart message. Although he hasn't reached entering heavens in this lifetime, he still seems to be at the level of sending heart messages. After replying that I am fine, I refocus my consciousness. Kugugugugu. Before long, I sense the sacred masters of the middle realms approaching quite closely. They've already entered within 6,000 light years. In half the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, 7.5 minutes. They'll probably pinpoint my location and arrive in an instant. I need to hurry with the synchronization. Kururum. Sure enough, giant totem poles the size of planets come hurtling from the distant expanse, relentlessly striking the peaceful cloud realm. Kugugugugu. The world flickers and shakes violently. As I begin synchronizing with the world, I feel as though my internal organs are being churned, and I shake my head to dispel the sensation. I can feel Banta desperately trying to stop me. If he arrives here, he will undoubtedly cease any pretense of a polite invitation and attempt to capture me, throwing me into Banta Castle. Kururum. Quarum. Kururum. Banta hurls totem poles madly once again. The totem poles embed into the peaceful cloud realm repeatedly. However, it seems he cannot pinpoint the exact location, as they occasionally embed themselves in other planets near the peaceful cloud realm. I can feel Banta's will from the totem poles he throws. Through that will, I can sense Banta desperately sending me a message. Haha, Daoisio, calm down and listen to me for a moment. First, let me explain the dignity of our purple gold realm. The purple gold realm possesses a magnificent civilization that has flourished remarkably under my reign for 500,000 years of history. Are you perhaps interested in reproduction? If so, the males and females of the purple gold realm would make excellent choices. You human race may claim that the devil race cuisine you make is the best delicacy in the entirety of the middle realms, but the purple gold realm's flame-grilled sea cucumbers does not fall short even a bit. The taste is truly divine. What does it taste like to be that good? Banta's voice is genuinely desperate, and it begins to intensify. Hey, calm down, Daoisio. I don't know which star system you're conducting the synchronization ritual right now, but please listen to my words just for a moment. Please just wait. I'll give you my sacred master position, Banta Castle, and even my jade seal. So please just wait. Wait. Stop. I said stop. Stop. There isn't a single Dharma treasure that the purple gold realm doesn't have. And this isn't an exaggeration. Even the other sacred masters acknowledge this. The Dharma treasure techniques of our purple gold realm are the best in the middle realms. I can even strengthen your Dharma treasure. I'm saying there are a lot of people in the purple gold realm with the extraordinary pattern law talent. I've heard there's one among your comrades. I'll give a method suitable for the extraordinary pattern law talent. What do you want? I'm asking how much will it take? How much? The purple gold realm even has an immortal arts library. I'll teach you any immortal art you wish to learn. Wait, please, just wait. Let's share a conversation for just the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, 15 minutes. Seo Unhyun. Seo Unhyun. Stop for a moment. Just for a moment. Hiya. Kwarong. As if drawing forth even his true origin energy while hurling his totem pole spell at me. The purple light emanating from the totem poles grows darker and more powerful. As I become synchronized with the peaceful cloud realm, every time a totem pole strikes the peaceful cloud realm, the impact is transmitted as pain to me. It hurts. In this state, it'll be difficult to continue the synchronization ritual. Moreover, if I were to respond to the consciousness imbued in those totem poles, Banta would immediately pinpoint my exact location. Thus, I absolutely cannot respond. However, using my unshakable heart, I close my eyes. Even in this state, I remain vigilant against Seo Huiol, protecting Seo Ran, and while enduring the worst synchronization ritual, I melt into the peaceful cloud realm. I can do this. This level of pain is nothing to me. Pat. Internally reciting the formula of the phenomena extinguishing mantra, I calm and focus my mind. The furious roars of Banta, which sounds like the cries of a wicked heart demon trying to disrupt my concentration, no longer reaches me at some point amidst my continued focus. Here I go. Woo-woo. The orbit I unfold splits into 8 domains, seeping into the sky of the peaceful cloud realm, and begins to absorb the light of the realm. The sacred vessel stage is ultimately the position of managing the world's light. Without light, no living beings can survive. Starting with Baek Woon and Hei Lin, Tuo and Jai Um, who oversee the Nether Ghost Realm and True Devil Realm. All of them. In truth, they preside over the light of the middle realms. Only now do I understand how the vast bright cold realm managed to maintain nearly uniform cycles of day and night across all its lands. Baek Woon has been managing the sunlight, moonlight, and starlight of the bright cold realm, aligning its day and night. It's the same for the ancient force realm. There, they have no sun or moon. Instead, something resembling a ring manages day and night. The True Devil Realm, the Nether Ghost Realm, and the Purple Gold Realm are all likely the same. Pat. The light of the peaceful cloud realm completely seeps into my body. And in an instant, Kwarurum, the heaven and earth spiritual energy of the peaceful cloud realm converges into a single place. at the forefront of Peaceful Cloud, in the center of the sea known as the Peaceful Cloud Great Sea. At the exact center of this Peaceful Cloud realm, a space begins to form for me. Just like the heavenly lotus mountain of the bright cold realm, the blood sacrificial altar of the true devil realm, the black palace of the nether ghost realm, the sea king hall of the ancient force realm, and Banta castle of the purple gold realm, this world is preparing a palace to accept me. Chwereric. In the case of the sacred master palace, the palace reflects the heart essence and preferences of the respective sacred master. And what emerges from reflecting on my heart essence is a familiar mountain. A mountain made of glass. It resembles the image within my heart essence quite closely. However, is it perhaps due to the influence of the peaceful cloud realm's energy? For some reason, instead of just ordinary glass swords embedded in the mountain like in my heart essence, the mountain is covered with glass blade-like trees. I look at the shape of those trees and immediately recognize what they are. Cedarwood. I recall Jangik's words, saying that once I visit the peaceful cloud realm, I would understand why the Heart Tribe territory is called Cedarwood Grove. Indeed, the peaceful cloud realm seems to have some sort of connection with Cedarwood. I briefly ponder over a name. Unhyun Great Mountain? Unhyun Castle? Unhyun Palace? Triple-headed General Co Divine Palace? No. After deliberating for a while on the most dignified name, I finally decide on the name for my sacred master palace. Glass Cedarwood Mountain, Lili Isamu-san. That shall be your name. Kugigum. The moment I name Glass Cedarwood Mountain, I feel that I am now completely connected to the peaceful cloud realm. Simultaneously, I feel as though I have become one body with this decaying corpse realm, can now borrow the power of the peaceful cloud realm, and subtly adjust the fates within it through my authority. Woo-woo. At the same time, the will of the peaceful cloud realm whispers something into my mind. So it wasn't the peaceful cloud realm. As I sit atop the summit of Glass Cedarwood Mountain, I speak the true name of this world aloud. Cedarwood Painting, Songdo. That is the name of this place. Kwon. The moment I utter that true name, a steel made of salt crystal crashes down before me. On the steel, the world's name, Cedarwood Painting, Songdo, is engraved. Woo-woo. I imbue the steel with my consciousness. At the same time, the 5 sacred masters of the middle realms at last encircle this world. Pot. I send a colossal projection outside the world. It is a projection created using the power of Cedarwood Painting. The expressions of the sacred masters shift continuously as they gaze upon my projection. Greetings, seniors. This surname CO finds this world to his liking. I have decided to act as the sacred master of this decaying corpse realm for the time being. Please allow me to reintroduce myself. I bow to them, introducing myself. Sacred master of Cedarwood Painting. I am CO Unhyun. Then, Banta's horrific wail echoes across the entire universe. Thus, amid Banta's anguished cries, I rise proudly as the sacred master of Cedarwood Painting. Chapter 508, CO Rant's Family, 3. He's screaming so much it makes me feel sorry. However, there's nothing I can do. The end is approaching and there's no way I, who is only at the early sacred vessel stage, can make proper measures. For the sake of the living beings of the purple gold realm, at least until the end, it would be better for Banta to take charge. HMHHMM. It's unfortunate. I'll have to wait for the next opportunity. Baek Woon and Hei Lin just smack their lips and turn away, while Uo and Jai Um looks at me for a moment with a sense of regret. And Banta suddenly rolls his eyes and bares his teeth. Yes? Congratulations, Taoist CO. But do you happen to know? Among us sacred masters, it is customary to give an initiation ceremony when a junior succeeds in becoming a sacred master. This is the first I'm hearing of it. Of course it's the first time. This is a tradition passed down only within the purple gold realm. I remember Banta being the first sacred master of the purple gold realm. I am not a sacred master of the purple gold realm, so I don't believe there's a reason for me to undergo that initiation. In celebration of Junior's advancement to sacred master, I, Banta, will give the best initiation ceremony ever. Kugugugugu. Above Banta's head, a purple thundercloud appears. Inside the purple cloud, pure white lightning rumbles. The thundercloud gradually grows in size, until it envelopes the entirety of Cedarwood Painting. He's really angry. I silently click my tongue and decide to accept his strike for now. And in the next moment, Quarrurum. The purple thundercloud strikes directly towards me, pounding the entire Cedarwood Painting. This insane sacred master, does he intend to annihilate me? From within the storm of the purple thundercloud, I summon the 3 great ultimates behind me. But the 3 great ultimates waver like candle flames in the face of the purple storm. He's drawing upon the power of the purple gold realm to attack me. At this rate, the entire Cedarwood Painting will collapse. Of course, there is another option. If I sever my synchronization with Cedarwood Painting, this thundercloud targeting me will only push me into distant space, leaving Cedarwood painting untouched. The choice between perishing with Cedarwood painting or abandoning my sacred master position here is laid out in front of me. Though it may seem like a petty move, this attack feels like the regret of Ban Ta, who has held the position of sacred master for 500,000 years and still hasn't found a successor. Can I endure? As I struggle with all my might. Wawoom. Something is added around the power of the three great ultimates. This is the power of Cedarwood painting itself. That power is supporting me. Is it because I have taken the role of sacred master that I can draw upon the world's power? But the power of the decaying corpse realm alone is not enough. Greater power. I need greater power. Greater power. Even more formidable power. It's at the moment that thought crosses my mind. Keying. Gradually, Banta's thundercloud seems to slow down, and the world momentarily darkens. Is this stopping time temporarily through attraction force? No, it accelerated my consciousness. I realized the identity of the force accelerating my consciousness. The will that has waited for a long time for Ohiasio or those like her, the heavenly rejected. This is definitely an inheritance from an ender. Pat it. At the same time, an illusion appears before my eyes. It's an illusion of a monster. That monster is a sword cultivator. Every time the golden monster moves, thousands and hundreds of millions of golden swords sway from its body, piercing throughout the universe. Within that vision, I notice the monster is fighting someone. It's Hyengwi. The girl with a ponytail and donned in black martial attire is dancing. The monster roars. The entire universe trembles at the monster's utterance, and the sharp energy the monster emits cuts the universe. However, the essence of the sword, which seems to split heaven and earth, cannot penetrate inside the dance of the girl. Within her dance, within the circle inside, nothing can intrude, and everything seems to scatter into nothingness. Trying to resist the terrifying force of that circle, I unknowingly find myself clenching my fist. The colorless glass sword is held in my hand. Then, a familiar movement begins from her. The girl who peacefully draws a circle. Everything around that girl vanishes, leaving just a single circle between heaven and earth once again. In the next moment, Passasac, the circle shatters, and the darkness of heaven and earth is lifted. The golden monster, battling within the cosmic space, is shattered to pieces. You have reached one wheel, Yun. However, you have not fully obtained Mandala, Montoa. Would you then, perhaps, be able to make the flower bloom? The girl, who shattered the golden monster, simply moves her hand. With that movement, all parts of the monster's body are instantly moved into the interdimensional void and annihilated. However, one single part resembling a thigh does not move according to the girl's will. Seeing that, the girl gives a small exclamation. You've bloomed the flower. You've set foot somewhat into pure nirvana, roommate. But what does that even matter? With that, I emerge from the illusion. Yet, I do not escape a certain ecstasy that has captivated me. And, without a word, I let my sword hang and aim it at Banta's thundercloud. Boom. Following Hyengwi, I try drawing a circle. Within the sword movement that carries neither sword energy nor intent, Banta's thundercloud is cleanly sliced in half. What? Banta shows a shocked expression and retracts the thundercloud momentarily from me. However, I ponder the meaning of the sword swing I just performed, paying no mind to the external situation. This is one wheel, Yilin. A single circle appears before my eyes. Now I understand. This circle is nothing special. Perhaps it has been inside me from the very beginning. Another name for this circle is seated detachment, entering hope, Duotoliwa. In the realm of tribulating heavens, I condensed all of myself to create the all-heavens sword. The owner of the void likely compressed all of the previous realms and discovered the wheel. I see. This is Hyengwi, or rather, the main body of the one who uses the name Hyengwi, the realm name of the owner of the void. As I confirm what is called one wheel, I once again compress my martial realm. Wawoom. I raise my all-heavens sword. Compressing the formless sword once created the all-heavens sword. Compressing the formless sword while wishing that all the colors of my life would be imbued within it, I named it all-heavens sword. A single strike tempered from everything in my life. That is the all-heavens sword. That is seated detachment, entering hope. I've been drawing a circle. I can see a certain circle within the all-heavens sword. In truth, every scene and moment of my life has been drawing this circle. Beyond the scene I thought was flat, there is another scene, like both sides of a coin. And just as continuously spinning the coin eventually turns it into a sphere, my life has, in fact, always been overlapped with death. As life and death have always been rotating within me, drawing a circle, the perfect circle has always been within me. Gazing into the enlightenment of the owner of void, I swing the sword again as if entranced. And I look towards the next moment. Beyond one wheel, to the realm I have named Void Shattering. Beyond the movements of the owner of the void, I naturally hear the realm name she coined. Mandala Montolo. Beyond the all-heavens sword, the wheel, Feng, seems to rotate, and countless images are drawn around it. It is the life of the entity known as Seo Unhyun. My life is drawn into a mandala and seems to scatter throughout the entire world. Then finally, the very last moment. Paisa. The mandala shatters to pieces. Just as the circle shattered, my life returns to nothingness. Woo. Is this the end? For some reason, my throat tightens. But in the next moment, I feel something beyond that nothingness. It is a fragrance. Though I can't identify which flower's scent it is, the instant I inhale that incredibly fragrant aroma, I feel as though I could let go of everything. Beyond that void, Kongxi, where nothing exists except the overflowing, unknown fragrance. It's as if I can hear the realm name of void that Jang it called the third step before the throne. Adumbara, Yo Tempo. Yes, one wheel, Ying. Mandala Montolo. Adumbara, Yo Tempo. These are the great steps pioneered by the owner of the void. Quorum. As soon as I realize these realms, I feel as if thunder is crashing in my mind again. Red Lotus, Honglan. Prajna Book. Dragonflower, Lungwap. This is another realm found in the memories of the golden monster. It somehow does not seem to be the original realm of the monster, but I can clearly sense that the entity trained its power in accordance with this realm to oppose the power of the owner of the void. And simultaneously, I can sense a commonality between these two realms. It is that they each describe the ultimate of their realm as something alive. Adumbra and Dragonflower. They are all names of legendary flowers and trees. They are things with life, as if treating martial arts, Wu, as something truly alive. Feeling this, I suddenly realize something. 3 flowers Wuji, Sanhua Wuji. At some point, like Jang's 3 steps before the throne, I started collectively referring to my seated detachment, entering hope, my void shattering, and the next third realm as 3 flowers Wuji. Thinking about it, there was no trigger for that. Just at some point, I thought to call the martial art realms of the middle boundary 3 flowers Wuji and did so. It has nothing to do with flowers, so why did I name this 3 flowers Wuji? Chills. I realize a terrifying fact. It was today. 3 flowers Wuji. I realized that it's only today that I got the trigger to call the martial art realms 3 flowers Wuji. Insane. The moment I identified the term 3 flowers Wuji on this timeline. On this very day, the realm 3 flowers Wuji was imprinted across all my timelines. In other words, beyond the timelines of the regressor, me, it engraved the realm into the me who had yet to witness the legacy of the ancient Ender in the peaceful cloud realm. I understand that fact and how it was made possible. An ancient Ender's power. It's the power of an ancient Ender. A terrifying authority that engraves all realms, even into my past self, just from meeting at this moment. It's a bone-chilling ability that is in no way inferior to regression. Come to think of it, Kim Yun from a previous cycle said so. That our authorities aren't just a broad consciousness domain, heavenly golden thunder body, ghostly transformation immortal root, and such. Such things are just the trivial fragments that emerged when the true power on the plane of fate was manifested onto the plane of chi. This is the true authority of an Ender who has fully harnessed the power within the plane of fate. It isn't a joke, it's an authority on par with regression. Depending on its use, it's an authority that could even render regression as something trivial. Heek. Having confirmed the new realm name and the authority of a previous Ender, I look around. This place is. I realize where I am. My physical body had briefly danced a sword dance in ecstasy on the peaceful cloud continent of the peaceful cloud realm. But now, my soul is on the underside of the peaceful cloud continent. In other words, I have come to the backside of the flat, decaying corpse realm. This is. There, I see a mandala, Montolo. It is a mandala of a mountain, San, of cedarwood, Sao, drawn on it. A giant cedarwood mountain, Samu Shan. And a mandala inscribing the saga of a hero who entered the cedarwood mountain, defeated a monster, stole 7 halos, and offered them as a sacrifice to the heavens. I see. What Jangik wanted me to see was this. Only now do I fully understand why Jangik named the Heart Tribe territory Cedarwood Grove, Sangham. And while I'm staring at Cedarwood Mountain, the mandala depicting the Cedarwood Mountain quietly disappears. Pot. Simultaneously, as the sacred master of cedarwood painting, I am pushed out by an unknown force, returning once more to the summit of glass Cedarwood Mountain. At the same time, a whisper echoes in my ear. If you want to see it properly, prove it. What must I prove? Somehow, I feel like I know. It must be to prove my own martial arts. Clenching my hand tightly, I vow to one day return to the mandala of Cedarwood Mountain. for that is an opportunity to experience the inheritance of one of the few heart tribe entities beyond void-shattering in this world. As I rise back to the top of Cedarwood painting, I half open my eyes and meet Banta's gaze. Banta stares at me in silence before speaking. Yes, I have lost. Do as you wish. The sacred master of the purple gold realm. The opportunity will come someday. The extraordinary skill I just displayed seems to have greatly surprised Banta. Cool. He reaches into the void and seems to pull out something before throwing it to me. Take it. For a genius like you, entering nirvana will be immediate. It's a specialty from the purple gold realm that helps with advancing to entering nirvana. It's a dusk talisman, Huangquan Fu. I'm sorry for testing you recklessly. Take it as a token of apology. Wawoom. I catch the golden talisman he throws. I can sense an overwhelming level of degenerate energy. It feels as if an entire black hole of the universe was refined and crammed into the talisman. In a way, it's a talisman-shaped singularity engine. Even for a sacred master, it's an item of considerable difficulty to refine. To give me a such thing, it seems he is truly sincere. I accept the apology. It is I who should be sorry for not being able to attend the invitation. Haha. If you're sorry, then later on, help me catch a fresh sacred vessel with me. Thus, I completely resolve all animosity with Banta, and I am formally recognized as a sacred master by all the sacred masters of the Middle Realms. In that way, I prepare for the impending end with Seo Ran by my side. Simultaneously, as I press Seo Huiol to uncover his plans and intentions, I begin my sacred vessel stage cultivation. Chapter 509, Seo Ran's Family 4. Glass Cedarwood Mountain of Cedarwood Painting. After being established in a place commonly referred to as the Peaceful Cloud Realm, named after the continent, Seo Ran created a cave in a spot within the glass Cedarwood Mountain and began secluded cultivation there. Monster. That is the term used by Seo Huiol, whom he always believed in and followed as if he was his real father. Seo Ran is confused about everything. That Seo Huiol is actually countless fragments created by a certain immortal art. The fact that the main body of those fragments is himself, and that the fragments plan to kill Seo Ran's physical body to reset him. To himself, he is simply a regular half-human, half-dragon. Older brother, please at least drink some water and absorb spiritual energy. What will you do if you hurt your origin? Shurho approaches Seo Ran. Seo Ran looks at Shurho with vacant eyes. After Seo Eunhyun decided to settle in the peaceful cloud realm, Seo Eunhyun and his comrades all emerged from Seo Eunhyun's heart essence and began living in glass Cedarwood Mountain. Kim Young-hoon continuously discussed the skill known as martial arts with Seo Eunhyun, and John Myung-hoon got accustomed to handling lightning according to Seo Eunhyun's method, preparing to advance to the star-shattering stage. Kong Min-hee, after a yearn for reunion with the comrades, currently aims to reach the grand perfection star-shattering stage. In a few hundred years, Kong Min-hee's advancement ritual to the sacred vessel stage will likely begin. Oh Hyun-suk temporarily returned to the bright cold realm, and is said to be further learning the bone-armored treasured origin art from one of the integration stage grand cultivators there, Joel Make. Particularly among them, Kim Yun is said to be gathering ordinary stars outside Cedarwood painting to create something tremendous. Moreover, Seo Eunhyun's loyal subordinate, Hong Fan, has gotten a sense of entering heavens beyond the path, and is growing while spreading Seo Eunhyun's renown throughout Cedarwood painting. Currently, the only one sitting doing nothing but staring at a wall is Seo Ran. Even Shurho is helping Hong Fan with his work while managing glass Cedarwood Mountain, and bit by bit strengthening her cultivation while caring for Seo Ran. However, Seo Ran, after briefly looking at Shurho with a puzzled gaze, turns back to face the wall. Stay outside. I'll handle it myself. Older brother. But Shurho, without listening to Seo Ran's words, stands there for a long time watching him before leaving. Seo Ran lets out a sigh. After realizing from Seo Huiol that he is the main body of Seo Huiol, Seo Ran managed to completely uncover the face and name of a certain woman and his emotions towards her that has been harassing him since Penglai Island. The woman's name is Oh Hyeseo. For some reason, she currently bothers Seo Ran in his heart even more than when he thinks of Shurho. Seo Ran glances at the place where Shurho left. In the spot where he left is a large scoop of salt water left for Seo Ran to consume. It is a mass of spiritual energy water created by the salt Seo Eunhyun specially created through using his spiritual power and a water attribute spell. Starting from the heavenly being stage, one doesn't need to eat food and can live off just the 5 elements. Therefore, consuming sufficiently spiritual energy-enriched 5 elements is more helpful than proper food for maintaining one's origin. Seo Ran uses the splitting void seizing object, Gokongshu, technique to bring the bowl of salt water closer. In it, Seo Ran's face is clearly reflected. However, Seo Ran contorts his face, grabs the bowl, and shouts, "Just what? Just what am I supposed to be? Just what is my life supposed to be? As Seo Ran yells, the water in the bowl distorts, and his reflection in the water also distorts wildly. Mother. Thinking back, it was always like this. On the day Seo Ran received his mother's keepsake, read her diary, and longed for family. Song Jin became his family. On the day Seo Ran felt boredom with cultivation and needed stimulation. Figures like Chongmun Ryong and Buk Hyangwa appeared, stimulating him as comrades and seniors. On the day Chongmun Ryong, who he considered his senior, went mad, and he decided to go on a life-and-death expedition to save him. Buk Hyangwa, Kim Young-hoon, and all the cultivators of the continent stood up to rescue Chongmun Ryong with Seo Ran. The day Seo Ran looked at the salt pillar that was Chongmun Ryong and thought, it'd be great if we all ascend to the upper realm together and find a way to save him. Buk Hyangwa used the Buk Hyang fleet to create a way for Seo Ran, Song Jin, Kim Young-hoon, and the others to ascend to the upper realm. On the day Seo Ran wandered the streets and encountered a demon race woman who, for some reason, was estranged from the world just like him. On the day he saw Yuk Yo and thought, I want to make her mine. Yuk Yo, with a flimsy excuse about seeking the essence of the sea dragon race or whatever, deceived even herself and embraced Seo Ran. After that, on the day when Yuk Yo said she'd return to her homeland within the dream, gradually fell in love with Baek Rin, and Seo Ran started wishing for their misfortune. They faced misfortune through Yuk Rin. After leaving Penglai Island and the ancient Force Realm, wishing ill upon Yuk Yo and Baek Rin due to being unable to control his conflicting emotions, yet resenting Yuk Rin for troubling them. Yuk Rin went mad. It was the same even after that. Seo Ran wanted to be of help to Seo Eun-hyun. Thus, after Seo Eun-hyun drove the human race into the Heart Tribe territory, Seo Ran wished for them to assimilate well into the Heart Tribe. The human race created something called the Martial Alliance, which Kim Young-hoon had previously made and boasted about to Seo Ran in the Head Realm, thus becoming part of the Heart Tribe. Even after that, and after that, Seo Ran kept wishing and wishing. Thankful for the senior who gave him the chance to meet Song Jin and pulled him out of Seo Huiol's conspiracy. He wished for the world to become peaceful someday, as Seo Eun-hyun hoped. He never questioned the world flowing as he hoped for. He merely thought it was by chance. Even when he came to somehow hear about tainted soul filling the heavens from Seo Eun-hyun, he only thought it was scary, but never really thought beyond that. It was indeed strange. Seo Huiol might be linked to Seo Ran's entire life story. Yet what did Seo Ran believe in to not even think about devising a countermeasure or opposing method for tainted soul filling the heavens? But he finally understands now. I was the main body of grandfather Seo Huiol, that he was the true master of tainted soul filling the heavens. And if he is the master of tainted soul filling the heavens, all the coincidences are explained. Seo Ran plunges his head into the water brought by Shi Ho, inhaling the water through his nose. At the same time, he thinks, who am I really? He is confused. He had lived his life thinking of himself as Seo Ran. Especially after finding out that his mother, Yuo, loved him, he lived with pride in his name Seo Ran and his half-human, half-dragon form. However, I'm a monster that killed the real Seo Ran and was born. My mother is not Yuo, but a heartless monster called Seo Huiol. He cannot accept it at all, because accepting would probably break him. But if he doesn't accept it, that would just be avoidance. Seo Ran knows this too, that it is impossible to deceive himself. Just what should I do? Seo Ran clutches his head and falls into contemplation about his identity. Kuguguguk. By his will, even the entrance of the cave, where Shi Ho would come and go, temporarily gets blocked. 10 years have passed since Seo Eun-hyun became a sacred master. Outside Seo Ran's cave, many things have happened. After becoming the sacred master, Seo Eun-hyun reigned as the god of Cedarwood painting and publicly hung upside down and punished the old monster with the Ham surname that ruled the peaceful cloud continent to establish himself as the master of the world. And Kururum, the residence of sacred master Seo Eun-hyun, in a corner of glass Cedarwood Mountain, where only Seo Eun-hyun, who is practically the god of Cedarwood painting, and his close aides live. From the entrance of a blocked cave, someone emerges. It is Seo Ran. The moment Seo Ran exits the cave, he turns his gaze towards the summit of glass Cedarwood Mountain. After staring at the summit for a while, Seo Ran nods at someone coming from it. Yes, understood. Pot. In that instant, Seo Ran quickly shifts through space to the summit of glass Cedarwood Mountain. He arrives at the throne of sacred master Seo Eun-hyun of Cedarwood painting. It's been a while, Seo Ran. Yes, thank you for your concern, senior. I heard you did secluded cultivation due to confusion. Has the confusion somewhat subsided? Seo Eun-hyun asks cautiously towards Seo Ran. In response, Seo Ran confidently replies, it hasn't improved at all. I still don't know what is what. And yet, that confident attitude must mean you found some breakthrough to tackle that confusion. That's correct. For now, I am thinking of gathering people or demon beasts to form a group. While managing that group, I plan to further understand tainted soul filling the heavens, which I seem to handle unconsciously. Seo Eunhyun smiles at Seo Rant's words and responds. A good choice. If you completely understand tainted soul filling the heavens and fully control Seo Huiol, the root of most of your troubles will vanish immediately. Yes, please help me establish this group, Sacred Master. By taking care of them, I will look into understanding and being able to utilize tainted soul filling the heavens. This is the path Seo Rand chose. To control tainted soul filling the heavens with his own power. If he has subconsciously been using tainted soul filling the heavens, then perhaps with training, he might be able to use it consciously. Seo Eunhyun smiles faintly and speaks. Once a year, I will call the Great Master in Consciousness Methods, Yun, for you. Hong Fan will assist you as well. I will also interrogate Seo Huiol and extract methods from him. Yes, thank you. By the way, what kind of group do you plan to create? A Black Ghost Valley Cedarwood painting branch. That. Seo Rand thinks for a moment and then shakes his head. That would be more suitable for esteemed One Kong. Though I am a disciple of the Great Black Ghost Valley, I cannot ignore esteemed One Kang's hierarchy on this matter, so I will leave the establishment of the Black Ghost Valley Cedarwood painting branch to that person. I will instead reveal myself more as a sea dragon race than as a human to lead the demon race herd and become their leader. A demon race herd. That fits perfectly. Pardon. Seo Eunhyun smiles, and, using the splitting void seizing object technique, floats something over. Woo-woo. Seo Rand looks at the two eggs slowly flying into his arms. This is, in Seo Rand's consciousness domain, the beings within the eggs are captured. They are strange creatures with bodies like snakes and faces of humans. Take care of these children from now on. These children are a race born for the first time in this world, the ancestors of the Candle Dragon race. Seo Rant's eyes widen as he hears about the race emerging for the first time in this world from Seo Eunhyun. After some conversation, Seo Rand eventually cradles the two eggs of the Candle Dragon race and descends from Glass Cedarwood Mountain. He decided to become the parent of the Candle Dragons. Chapter 510, Seo Rand's Family, 5. 7 years have passed since Seo Rand decided to be the parent of the Candle Dragon race children. Jiraruru, Quararuru, Kook, you brats. Will you not let go? The two monsters with the bodies of snakes and the faces of humans charge at the half-human, half-dragon form Seo Rand and sink their teeth into him. Seo Rand's body is bitten in multiple places, and he hurriedly grabs their torsos. Chiyuriai. Cuff. However, from the sharp pain emanating form between the scales of the two monsters, Seo Rand clenches his eyes closed and endures the agony. Ku. Yet despite the excruciating pain, Seo Rand finally manages to pry the two monsters off his body and activates a demon ability. Demon ability. Small Pot 7 Chi Pearl, Xiaohu Chi Shizhou. An innate demon ability passed down through the bloodline of the Sea Dragon race. The weakened version of the Grand Ocean Thousandly Pearl unfolds. A water orb, 7 Chi, 2.3 m/7.7 feet, in size, captures and subdues the two snake-like monsters. But the monsters thrash violently inside the water orb, and Seo Rand forms hand seals to prevent the water orb from collapsing. How much effort did he put in? Pusususu. Something black leaks out of their bodies, and soon the Candle Dragons open their eyes again. Only then does Seo Rand sigh and deactivate the demon ability. Splash. The water orb dissipates, and the two Candle Dragons, who had been inside it until moments ago, crawl tearfully towards Seo Rand. Yuwa? Mister, did we hurt you a lot again? We're so sorry, big sister. We should have controlled ourselves better. Seo Rand strokes the heads of the two Candle Dragon race children, who are clinging to his body and shedding tears. It's all right, kids. Even if you bite me with those teeth of yours a little, how painful could it possibly be? At most, the injuries you cause at just Chi refining third star aren't that frightening. And as I said before, please unify how you address me. But, you're covered in blood like this, Hyung. Look at your hands, Yuni. They're completely burned. Seo Rand looks at the Candle Dragon race children, who are addressing him however they please, and rapidly regenerates his body. Chiyuriai. Look here. It's already healed. Once you reach the Chi building stage, you can recover from most bodily injuries. And as I've told you, please unify how you address me. But still, we're sorry any. But Grandpa Seo Rand, it still hurt, didn't it? Seo Rand silently pats the two children on the head. The Candle Dragon race has a particular characteristic where they would, at intervals, lose control of their overwhelming, ominous nature, Shengxing, and explode in a fit, losing their reason. Like the cycle of day and night, they would rage with madness for half a day, only to regain their complete clarity of mind and stay calmly by Co Ran's side for the other half. Whenever they rampage, intense heat that is pain itself would rise between their scales, making it difficult for Co Ran to subdue them directly each time they lose control. However, after spending several years together, Co Ran has gradually become accustomed to the behavioral patterns of the Candle Dragon race, allowing him to subdue their outbursts with minimal damage. Co Ran hugs the wailing Candle Dragon children, soothing and lulling them to sleep. Tingle, tingle. Co Ran raises his throbbing hand. Carefully, so as not to wake the peacefully sleeping children, he dips his tingling hand into a nearby stream. Chiriya. At that moment, something pitch black leaks out from his hand. It is the curse that the Candle Dragon race is inherently born with. Drip drop drop. Whenever exposed to the heat radiating from the Candle Dragons, curses and pain naturally seep into one's body. Once the curse's energy is exhausted, shards of glass would form within the victim's body. Crunch, crackle. As Co Ran expels the glass shards from within his body, he clicks his tongue. What an exceptionally powerful race. They aren't even from a middle realm, yet they're born at the Qi refining stage. Even without cultivating demon beast methods, they've already reached Qi refining 3rd star. With just their racial traits alone, they're more than capable of dominating an entire world. He briefly looks up towards the top of Glass Cedarwood Mountain. The being that resides at the summit of Glass Cedarwood Mountain, carrying an enormous curse, a being whose very recognition by mere mortals would ignite glass flames, causing glass shards to erupt from their bodies. Sacred Master of Cedarwood Painting, Co Unhyun. Through the Candle Dragon race, Co Ran came to understand the essence of Co Unhyun. Although you claim to be human all this time, you've actually been concealing your identity as a Candle Dragon race, senior. It's obvious at a glance, no matter how one looks at it, that Co Unhyun is the true progenitor of the Candle Dragon race. Salak Salak. Co Ran scratches the scales of the Candle Dragons. The scales of the Candle Dragon race, emitting a crystalline light akin to glass, produce a clear sound each time Co Ran scratches them. Even in their current, juvenile state, the scales of the Candle Dragon race already possess hardness equivalent to corundum. If struck with a poorly crafted iron sword, the blade would shatter rather than the scales. In other words, there are barely any cases for the Candle Dragon race to sustain injuries from other races. Yet, it is precisely for this reason that Co Ran feels even more pity for the two children. Just like some snakes have no immunity to their own venom, these children also have no resistance to the pain they unconsciously emit. They are beings who can inflict pain on others, yet struggle to receive pain themselves. But this world is not a place where one can live without experiencing pain. It is merely hard to receive pain. If they are struck by a sufficiently strong shock, they, too, feel pain. And because they lack resistance to pain, they probably suffer far more than others when they do experience it. He gently strokes the heads of the Candle Dragon children, lost in thought. Will these children be able to live well in this world? As he watches the sleeping children, it happens. Someone descends from the sky, clothed in a light pink robe. It is Kim Yun. With a faint smile, she sits beside Co Ran and begins operating her consciousness. Her expansive consciousness wave envelopes the area. Co Ran senses the flow of her consciousness and understands her meaning. Yes, for now, there isn't a particular reaction. The thing called tainted soul filling the heavens, for some reason, has no effect on these children. I know because they don't listen to anything I say, though I don't know why. In fact, the more I try to handle it consciously, the more distant it seems to become. Kim Yun nods her head as she listens to Co Ran's words. After a moment, Kim Yun stimulates Co Ran's consciousness domain, making it become clear. Then, using a simplified consciousness method formula derived from the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon's formula, she helps train Co Ran's consciousness alongside him. Thank you, Miss Kim Yun. Kim Yun's actions are intended to prevent the possibility of Co Ran being contaminated by Co Huil's influence or falling victim to Co Huil's schemes. It must also be under senior Co Unhyun's orders. Co Ran feels that Co Unhyun might be conducting some kind of experiment on him through Kim Yun. Of course, he doesn't mind. It's all to block Co Huil's schemes, after all. After spending some time training Co Ran's consciousness with him, Kim Yun smiles faintly and then soars back into the sky. Before long, the sunlight has faded and the night sky has risen. Previously, the day and night cycles of Cedarwood painting were somewhat erratic, but the situation improved significantly as Co Unhyun grasped a sense of the sacred master cultivation. In the sky above Cedarwood painting, 14 new artificial stars are shining. Over the past period, Kim Yun has followed up on the 7 artificial stars created by the Mad Lord, crafting 7 more by grinding down other planets. The artificial stars are interconnected and amplifying energy, and that amplified energy is supplying energy to Cedarwood painting. So much is changing, as Co Ran watches the world transform. And as he watches his children changing, he smiles bitterly. Everything is evolving rapidly around Co Eun-hyun as the center. And within this time of evolution, transformation, and growth, Co Ran feels only he alone remains in place. Another 8 years pass. Grandmother Co Ran, Big Bro Co Ran, the two candle dragons, still refusing to heed Co Ran's words as always, charge towards him on two legs. Acha, you little brats. Co Ran hugs the two children. 15 years since their birth. Perhaps it's because they were directly created by Co Eun-hyun. It would not be an exaggeration to say that they received the support of the entire Cedarwood painting. Thanks to that, they reached the nascent soul stage at the age of 15 and successfully underwent transformation. Co Ran laughs as he hugs the two children. Congratulations on succeeding in your transformation. You little geniuses. Hee hee, what genius? The Sacred Master basically turned every cultivation ground around us into those that are the best, even in the middle realms, pulling in spiritual energy. Not advancing would be strange. On top of that, the Sacred Master twisted the celestial energy every time we cultivated to push us forward. Not advancing would make us idiots. Co Ran gazes at the candle dragons with a bitter expression. They are lying right now. After entrusting the candle dragon children to Co Ran, Co Eun-hyun has provided no support for them whatsoever. All he has done is give them a place to live and purify the heaven and earth spiritual energy so they would not fall ill. Beyond that, truly, nothing else was given. Manipulated celestial energy? Senior did that. Co Eun-hyun's other comrades, including Kim Yun, and especially Kong Min-hee, who is the closest to reaching the sacred vessel stage, have all directly confirmed it. Co Eun-hyun is not yet capable of such miracles. Then why are these two candle dragons, who reached the nascent soul stage at the age of 15, praising Co Eun-hyun and acting modestly in front of Co Ran? You've used forbidden techniques, Jingsu. Didn't you kids? Forbidden techniques that rapidly raise cultivation at the cost of shortening one's designated lifespan. These are techniques the ghosts in Co Ran's nether-crossing ship had once revealed, as Co Ran found it nearly impossible to control all the ghosts in the nether-crossing ship. He hasn't been able to entirely prevent the Candle Dragon children from learning dangerous secret arts from them. However, even though he realizes that what they used is a forbidden technique, Co Ran does not scold them. Instead, he simply embraces the children. You kids really don't listen, do you? Co Ran knows all too well why the children used forbidden techniques to rapidly reach the nascent soul stage. Because of this, he only silently holds them tighter in his arms. 20 years pass. Co Ran sits quietly in front of a cave, staring into its depths. 35 years. To cultivators, it is a very brief span of time. But to Co Ran, it has been a long and precious period. And during that time, while staying by their side, the two children, who he now regards as his own, are inside that cave. From within, painful groans echo. Not long after, the groans finally cease. As soon as the groaning stops, Co Ran rushes into the cave. At the very end of the cave, Co Ran finds dozens of eggs. In front of those eggs stand the now fully grown two children, hand in hand, facing him. Though they were raised like siblings, they are not biologically related, as each was individually created by Co Eun-hyun. These children have grown and joined together to bring forth their descendants. You've worked hard. Co Ran approaches them without a word and holds their hands. Father, Mother. Co Ran's two children still address him differently, like always. Though exhausted, they hold his hand with playful voices. Yes. And, at least for today, Co Ran doesn't say, please unify how you address me, but instead simply accepts their words. I'm here. The Candle Dragon race lays eggs only once in their lifetime. After laying their eggs, they exhaust their vital energy and die. Co Ran recalls being told this when Co Eun-hyun first entrusted the children to him. The most defining trait of the Candle Dragon race is inheritance. Because their parents exhaust all their vital energy and infuse them into the eggs, their offspring are born with slightly longer lifespans, grow tougher scales, and possess stronger divine powers than the previous generation. Perhaps this trait arose because Co Eun-hyun's flower soul filling the heavens was imbued in their creation. However, the concept that later generations grow stronger and live longer through inheritance means that the first generation is fated to be short-lived and weak. Co Ran grips his children's hands and sheds tears. The reason his children chose to rapidly reach the nascent soul stage, even at the cost of shortening their lifespans, is because the lifespan allotted to them is only around 60 years. Even after reaching the chi building stage, core formation stage, or the nascent soul stage, the increase in lifespan they gain is so insignificant that it could be considered pitiful, akin to that of a slave race. Rather than crawling around for 60 to 70 years, biting and clawing Seo Ran, they chose to live 30 or 40 years with the clear reasoning afforded by the nascent soul stage, living in human form. Our children will definitely love you as well. Though it was a short life, it was definitely good. Please don't be sad. Now, the children are soon going to die. Though Seo Ran could use the nether crossing ship to bind their souls, he decides to send them to the netherworld instead. Holding their hands tightly, he weeps for a long while before giving his children his final words. Thank you for becoming my children, kids. With those words, Seo Ran's first children closed their eyes. 1 year later, among the eggs that his children left behind, the first egg hatches. The candle dragon that emerges from the first egg is a baby girl. Seo Ran picks up the child for the first time and bestows a name upon her. Your name is Seo Hai. He gives her his family name as part of her name. Is it because she perhaps likes the name, or perhaps because of some other reason? Seo Hai looks into Seo Ran's eyes and smiles faintly. Chapter 511, Seo Ran's Family 6. The second-generation candle dragon race, upon hatching from their eggs, recognized Seo Ran as their parent the moment they first saw him and began following him. Of course, perhaps it's because Seo Ran learned the Taiji quaking lightning body. Even now, he is referred to as both a man and woman. At some point, Seo Ran gave up trying to unify how they address him. It must just be their nature. With a soft sigh, he continues to care for the candle dragon race. Among them, the eldest daughter, Seo Hai, crawls over to Seo Ran and asks, Seo Ran, why is glass Cedarwood mountain we live on made of glass? What is that thing floating in the sky? Why does fire emit from between our scales? Why does Seo Ran look different from us? Seo Ran, I'm curious about the number of your teeth. Please open your mouth. Seo Hai has the most curiosity among them. At the same time, she is the smartest among the candle dragon race. When Seo Ran asked them to unify how they address him, she keenly began calling him just Seo Ran. Seo Ran strokes Seo Hai with an affectionate gaze and answers each of her questions one by one. Even when the time comes for the candle dragon race to explode their ominous nature, Seo Hai is the most composed, releasing her ominous nature in the most stable manner. Kuruk, Kuruk, Kuruk. As expected, Seo Hai is the most composed. Seo Ran smiles as he watches Seo Hai chew on branches, spit fire to burn them, and grind her teeth. Seo Hai is a child that doesn't particularly harm anyone, simply releasing her ominous nature in her own unique way. Watching her, Seo Ran gave a soft smile. And so, time passes again. 55 years have passed since Seo Ran began caring for the second-generation candle dragon race. It has also been exactly 100 years since Seo Eunhyun became a sacred master. All the candle dragon race found compatible partners, mated, and laid hundreds of eggs before dying. Seo Ran looks at the deceased second-generation candle dragon race with a slightly somber expression. However, his expression isn't as gloomy as it was when the first-generation candle dragon race, who were like his first children, had died. It's okay, Seo Ran. You have me. The eldest of the second generation. Seo Hai pats Seo Ran on the shoulder. Even among the candle dragon race, Seo Hai was the first. Without using any forbidden techniques, she independently devised and mastered a demon beast method well suited for the candle dragon race, reaching the core formation stage in just 55 years. At the same time, she developed a way to partially transform her body without reaching the nascent soul stage, succeeding in transforming her upper body into that of a human woman while maintaining her lower body as the snake form typical of the candle dragon race. She uses her arms to console Seo Ran, and Seo Ran wipes away his tears. Thank you, Seo Hai. Is it perhaps because of her genius? Seo Hai neither mated with others of the candle dragon race nor laid eggs. Instead, she sought other values, desiring longevity. She created her own demon beast method and incorporated principles of health preservation techniques into it to significantly extend her lifespan. Now, at the core formation stage, her current lifespan is 120 years. It's nothing, Seo Ran. Don't worry about it. Seo Hai gently hugs Seo Ran, comforting him. Then, Shurho enters and meets Seo Hai's gaze. Shurho, who had been continuously looking after Seo Ran while developing his own demon beast method, flinches slightly upon meeting Seo Hai's gaze. For some reason, she's like a snake. The candle dragon race are warm-blooded creatures. Given that they release intense heat from their bodies, they generate far more warmth than ordinary warm-blooded creatures. However, whenever Shurho meets Seo Hai's gaze, he feels the sharp, icy tension he feels from cold-blooded creatures. Although she appears to comfort Seo Ran on the surface, Shurho feels that Seo Hai's inner thoughts remain something inscrutable. Still, he joins her in comforting Seo Ran. Time continues to flow. Before long, 500 years have passed. During this time, The Candle Dragon race has gone through countless generations, and their numbers have grown significantly. Now, the Candle Dragon race left the glass Cedarwood mountain where they first lived and began settling in the peaceful Cloud continent as well. Co Ran, acting as the godfather of the Candle Dragon race, taught them demon beast methods and the way of life unique to their race. Meanwhile, Co Hai, regarded as a great elder of the Candle Dragon race, continued to preserve her longevity and pass down a secret art that enables even candle dragons at the Chi building stage to transform their upper bodies into human forms. Now, if this secret art is passed down for just a few more generations, it will become imprinted in their bloodline, much like the inherent demon abilities of the Sea Dragon race, enabling later generations to transform purely based on their bloodline. Co Ran, I brought some wine. Let's drink together. In a community where the Candle Dragon race has gathered, Co Hai approaches Co Ran, who now holds the title of Valley Lord of Half Dragon Valley, raising a bottle of wine. By now, Co Hai has reached the early heavenly being stage. It's all right. Just when Co Hai pushes the wine bottle in front of Co Ran, Tack, Sure Ho, who suddenly appears beside Co Ran, snatches the wine from Co Hai, opens the lid, and gulps it all down in one go. This isn't even good wine. Were you really trying to make older brother drink this low-quality stuff? Why would I need permission from someone like Mr. And low-quality wine, you say? I saw you smacking your lips after drinking it. Kiki, why don't you be honest with yourself? After finishing her words, Co Hai shoots a sharp glare at Sure Ho before turning and leaving the Valley Lord Hall of Half Dragon Valley. With a bitter smile, Co Ran pats Sure Ho on the shoulder. Why are you being so cold to Co Hai? You don't know, older brother. Lately, she's been blatantly ignoring me. And the wine she just tried to make older brother drink. Do you know what it was? I know. It was human wine, Rindu. Human wine refers to alcohol brewed using humans. It's a popular product among the demon race or other species that despise humans, and there isn't a world inhabited by intelligent beings where it isn't distributed. No, in fact, even in worlds populated solely by humans, human wine is circulated by devilish cultivators. Co Ran sighs softly. Having grown up witnessing human ranches and the like operated under Co Huiol's influence, he doesn't harbor much revulsion towards demon beasts that consume humans. After all, even humans devour one another in this era. Even Co Eun-hyun doesn't personally punish such things. However, Co Ran understands one thing. Those who devour their own kind or commit excessively cruel deeds cannot ascend. For example, human cultivators who create and consume human pills, or demon beast cultivators who slaughter human villages for purposes beyond mere survival. If they attempt ascension, Co Eun-hyun would summon countless vestiges of the interdimensional void and throw them to those vestiges as food. And, even if they don't attempt ascension, for some reason, their surrounding environment gradually becomes full of misfortune, leading them to fall to heart demons or slowly descend into ruin. Although there is no direct evidence, Co Ran believes that Co Eun-hyun is secretly punishing those who commit excessive evil. Sure Ho glares in the direction Co Hai left and says, I don't like that girl, but either way, she's someone that older brother treasures. Make her stop these habits of brewing and consuming human wine as soon as possible. The sacred master will be furious. You drank human wine too. That's because if I didn't drink it all right in front of her, knowing her personality, ugh, forget it. Sure Ho shakes his head back and forth, glaring again towards where Co Hai exited. Anyway, if that child keeps going like this, she's going to destroy herself. Older brother should try to stop her. I'll talk to her separately later. Co Ran says with a faint sigh. However, to Sure Ho, Co Ran's attitude shows no sign of reprimanding Co Hai. Just why does he not feel the need to stop someone who's like a child to him from brewing and drinking human wine? He gazes at Co Ran with a hint of worry. Time continues to flow. Before long, 1,000 years have passed since Co Eun-hyun became the sacred master. Kururum. Co Ran watches a woman who has just endured heavenly tribulation before him. With her clothes burned away while enduring the heavenly tribulation, she walks slowly towards Co Ran with her pure white exposed body and strokes his cheeks. Co Ran, congratulate me. I've reached the 4-axis stage. This means I'm now at last free of my chronic lifespan problem. Yes, congratulations, Co Hai. What a boring reaction. Sararak, the woman, Co Hai of the Candle Dragon race, snaps her fingers. At her gesture, thick blood energy gathers in the void and forms into her clothing. She dons the garment made of crimson aura and wears a mask resembling black mist over her face. At some point, she began wearing a mask everywhere she went. Co Ran only looks at that Co Hai with a puzzled expression. Co Hai looks back at that Co Ran and asks, by the way, Co Ran, since I've reached the 4-axis stage in the lower realm, don't I get a gift? I've already requested the sacred master, so you can build the 5 blessings axis. Not something boring like that. Co Hai suddenly pushes Co Ran over. Sarek, wearing her black mist-like mask that conceals her face, she begins running her hands over Co Ran's body. Through the Taiji quaking lightning body, Co Ran has the ability to switch between male and female forms at will. Currently, he is in his male form. Co Ran, do you not have any thoughts of mating with me? Co Ran looks at her and speaks. You're a child I raised like my own, Co Hai. While some demon beast cultivators do engage in such acts between parent and offspring, our sea dragon race does not. Neither does your candle dragon race. Hee hee, you say such amusing things. It's not like you're my real parent anyway, right? I'm more than a real parent to you. So don't do this. Besides, your candle dragon race. Yeah, I know that laying eggs results in death. Of course, I found a solution to that. And since we're not blood related, it doesn't matter, does it? Ho ho, mate with me, Co Ran. Rather than a dog bastard who mates with their actual blood-related children, I'd be a better dual cultivation partner, no? Co Hai. At her words, Co Ran pushes her away forcefully and yells angrily. Do not insult Ho. Kikek, did I say something wrong? Foxes are part of the dog family, after all. I'm more interested in humans, so I don't know the details. But isn't it possible that foxes have similar habits to dogs? That's enough. Just because you've reached the 4-axis stage, just because you're that much of a genius, it doesn't mean you have the right to say such things. Ho is like a parent who raised you all alongside me. Show respect, Co Hai. Ugh, how old-fashioned. I heard you were originally a man, but it's obvious you've been brainwashed by that fox. How is it, Co Ran? How does it feel to learn a gender-switching method and lie beneath a cross-dressing fox demon, moaning? Is that really your preference? Co Ran's face flushes bright red at her words. However, his expression quickly cools. Leave, Co Hai. No matter how much you provoke me like that, I will not mate with you. TCH, how boring. Fine, do as you like. Spend eternity moaning beneath that cross-dressing male fox, Co Ran. She spits out her words in annoyance and flies off somewhere. Moments later, Ho descends beside Co Ran. Baring his teeth, Ho glares in the direction Co Hai has flown off to. Co Ran. Let me kill her. I'll kill her and come back. His eyes are blazed with killing intent. How dare that thing insult you? I can tolerate insults towards myself, but it insulted you too, Co Ran. I can't tolerate this. That thing's wickedness has gone too far. You saw that blood energy, right? It formed from grinding down and drinking yet another human. If the Sacred Master will not punish that thing, I will do it myself. Co Ran, I will. Clench. But Co Ran grabs Ho's wrist and shakes his head. Let it go, Ho. What? The Sacred Master will handle it. And that child is still, in the end, my child. Seeing the look in Co Ran's eyes, Ho sighs deeply and calms down. If older brother says so. Co Ran pats Ho on the back to comfort him. Co Hai. At the same time, he looks towards the direction Co Hai flew off to. Oh hi Co. Oh hi Co. Co Ran recalls the words Co Eunhyun had said to him on the day Co Hai was born. Co Ran. That child is Oh hi Co. Her split soul eroded cedarwood painting. Pardon? What does that? In short, that child is the split soul of Oh hi Co who expelled the soul of the child who was supposed to become the real Co Hai and took her place. Co Eunhyun explained further. Co Huiol and I are currently engaged in a grand match. I asked Co Huiol about the whereabouts of Oh hi Co, but he prepared for even this possibility as well. He said that in the event I grabbed him by the throat, he set it up so Oh hi Co would escape to a place even he doesn't know. Thus, I too don't know where Oh hi Co's main body is. Co Huiol used her authority and the flaw and tainted soul filling the heavens to ensure that even he himself would never be able to locate her. Co Ran was shocked. The child he vowed to cherish for life turned out to be a monster that had stolen the body of one of his children and taken its place. Whether Oh hi Co, following Co Huiol's intentions, succeeds in taking you, his main body, from me, is the essence of this grand match between Co Huiol and I. However, that match has already been half ruined from the start. Someone like Oh hi Co can no longer challenge me. The moment her split soul entered this world, I distorted it, severing her connection to her main body and erasing her memories. In other words, the one you now call Co Hai is a candle dragon who possesses the identity of Oh hi Co, but is no longer Oh hi Co. What will you do? I will leave the choice to you. Will you raise Co Hai, or will you extract and destroy the split soul? Co Ran pondered those words for a long time. I will raise her. The monster that stole the body of children akin to his grandchildren. He resents her, but at the same time, Co Ran sees his own circumstances mirrored in Co Hai's. As the main body of tainted soul filling the heavens, Co Ran had grown by consuming the love of Uo, becoming Co Ran instead of Co Huiol. Then perhaps, if Co Hai, The fragment of Ohicio is raised with love. Couldn't she, too, grow to become not the fragment of Ohicio, but Seo Hai? That's what Seo Ran thinks. Because to deny Seo Hai's existence feels, in a way, like denying his own. Seo Eunhyun spoke to him. I will help you. If she commits any evil deeds, I will move the entire world to change her. This is, perhaps, my final chance for Ohicio as well. Seo Eunhyun seemed to regard this as his final opportunity for Ohicio, supporting Seo Ran's decision. However, he also asked for secrecy, saying that others might misunderstand if they learned her true identity. And so, things continued until today. Seo Ran embraces Shirho, lost in thought. Now is the time to make a decision. Before she grows even stronger, he must determine how to handle her. Is she right now Ohicio or Seo Hai? At the same time, Seo Ran questions himself. Am I Seo Ran or Seo Huiol? Chapter 512, Seo Ran's Family, 7. Bright Cold Realm, Cedarwood Grove. Among the human race residing there, the leaders of their faction, the Grand Cultivator Association, have gathered. The head of the Grand Cultivator Association, Junjae, clears his throat. As this is not a regular meeting of the Grand Cultivator Association, I apologize for urgently convening everyone. However, I believe you all understand why I have called this urgent meeting. At his words, all the members of the Grand Cultivator Association nod their heads. Except for one person, the one who does not nod. Han Won raises his head with a grim expression and speaks. It's so obvious. Isn't it because of that new sacred master that's doing so well? At Han Won's words, the other members of the Grand Cultivator Association clear their throats and avert their gazes from him. Only Junjae and Gol meet Han Won's gaze and awkwardly open their mouths to speak. Cultivator Han, as you might know, our bright cold realm human race sacred master, Seo Eunhyun. He has given us a command. When the news spread that there was someone from the Grand Cultivator Association of the Bright Cold Realm who surpassed the level of Esteemed One and reached the realm of Sacred Master, the Grand Cultivator Association held a great celebration. No, in truth, they had already celebrated greatly after moving to Cedarwood Grove, when Baekwoon officially acknowledged Seo Eunhyun as an Esteemed One. Although Seo Eunhyun became an Esteemed One through the Heart Tribe and not the Heaven-Earth tribes, the inherent nature of humans is simple. If someone is on their side, they are a dignified warrior, and if not, they are a Valhart tribe spy. The minor mistake of previously dismissing Seo Eunhyun as a multi-headed monster was completely forgotten, and they wholeheartedly rejoiced at the birth of an esteemed one. So, how did they react when they heard from Baekwoon that Seo Eunhyun has become a sacred vessel sacred master? An enormous festival erupted across the entire human race region. On that joyous day, the human race did not shun the Heart Tribe, but celebrated together with them. At the level of an esteemed one, Seo Eunhyun might have been considered a venerable senior, but now, as a sacred master of the sacred vessel stage, Seo Eunhyun is at the level of being worshipped as a sage god among the humans race. Throughout the human race residential region in Cedarwood Grove, statues and monuments venerating Seo Eunhyun are being erected everywhere. And Seo Eunhyun, who is being venerated as a sage god among the human race, issued a command to them a few days ago. Bring Han Won, the Palace Lord of Penglai Palace and member of the Grand Cultivator Association, to Cedarwood painting alive at all costs. Ordinarily, a sacred master from another middle realm or stellar system cannot arbitrarily impose their will on a different realm with a sacred master present. However, the fact that Seo Eunhyun's will has reverberated across the bright cold realm that Baekwoon governs means it already carries Baekwoon's consent. This in turn means that Baekwoon also agrees with Seo Eunhyun's command to bring Han Won to Cedarwood painting alive. Han Won glares at the other cultivators of the Grand Cultivator Association with gloomy eyes and speaks. Why can't you speak plainly? Please put on the shackles we've prepared in advance, step quietly into the prison, and kindly become a sacrificial offering for the new sacred master. Just speak comfortably, without wasting any more time. At those words, Junjae's face flushes slightly. Ahem. Why are you saying it like that, Cultivator Han? What we're trying to say is, well, that our human race sacred vessel sacred master wishes to share a brief conversation with you. Cultivator Honorable, so, we're simply suggesting that you accompany us to Cedarwood painting, which is a lower realm. Although it is a small realm, you could receive the sacred master's teachings, and someone like the sacred master could generate heaven and earth spiritual energy with ease, so cultivation won't be an issue. In fact, couldn't it also benefit you, Cultivator? So, for the journey to the sacred master, we've prepared a specially crafted palanquin for you to ride in, and there's no need to talk around in circles. Is there, Cultivator Han? Interrupting Junjae's roundabout words meant to avoid offending Han Won, Gol speaks coldly. In truth, Cultivator Han is correct. Put on the shackles, step into the prison, and head to Cedarwood painting. Become the sacrificial offering. It's shameful to admit, but the truth is that our Grand Cultivator Association once briefly opposed Sacred Master Unhyun. Because of that, we are all trembling in fear. We have no idea when the Sacred Master's wrath might descend upon us. Who could have possibly known that, like the legendary Yang Sujin, they would rise to the sacred vessel stage after a few hundred years? As soon as Joel Make begins to speak, Wai Su and Wai Rongxian clear their throats and chime in. At the time, we acted out of ignorance, but now we constantly live in fear of retaliation. To be honest, once someone reaches the level of esteemed one, unless they belong to the Earth tribe, they feel no particular attachment to their own race. They simply help their own race because they are familiar faces. For beings who have transcended the limits of life forms, our life and death mean nothing. It wouldn't even be strange if they crushed the entire human race like bugs at any moment. On top of that, all of us here have gone against the Sacred Masters will at some point. And, especially you, Cultivator Honorable, I've heard that you created an ill connection with Sacred Master Unhyun even before they reached the nascent soul stage. Junjae looks around at the others, then sighs and speaks. Since everyone is pressing the matter, I'll speak plainly. Cultivator Honorable, among all of us, you are the one who has the strongest enmity with that person. Therefore, for the peace of the human race, you must make the sacrifice and go to the Sacred Master. If, by chance, they are really helping you, it will be great. But if they choose to kill you to resolve their grudge with the human race, then as a member of the Grand Cultivator Association, it is even more appropriate for you to bear that burden. Make the sacrifice for us, Cultivator Han. Han 1 remains silent for a while, then begins to slowly speak. I wonder if you all would have spoken like this to me 40,000 years ago. Back in my prime, none of you would have even dared to sit in the same room as me. Han 1 glares at the Grand Cultivator Association with murderous eyes. Excluding Junjae and Joel Make, the other members all lower their gazes to avoid meeting his eyes. Looking at Junjae and Joel Make, Han 1 speaks with a sneer. Joel Make, I hear you became the teacher of one of Sacred Master Unhyun's acquaintances? Thanks to that, life must be quite good for you. Even if the human race perishes, you seem confident that you alone will survive. Knowing you're safe, you dare talk about sacrifice in front of me. Han 1's momentum rises. Joel Make, clad in bone armor, channels energy from the bones of demon beasts to resist Han 1's presence. Han 1's gaze shifts to Junjae. Junjae, you're no different. Because of your bloodline from the Elephant Nose Heavenly Domain, you likely hold a trump card to present to the Sacred Master to ensure you won't die. And yet, you dare to speak to me about sacrifice? Ha, pathetic worms. Gradually, Han 1's aura grows stronger. Junjae glares at him with a hardened expression. If you choose to respond like this, we'll have no choice but to resort to force. Please understand. As Junjae begins to rise from his seat, Joel Make, along with Wai Su, Wai Rongxian, and the other Grand Cultivators, also begin to rise. And then, just as a clash is about to erupt within the Grand Cultivator Association. Enough. Han 1 suddenly lets out a deep sigh and releases his aura, lowering his head in his seat. In the end, even Sacred Master Baekwon must have agreed to send me to Cedarwood painting. Do as you please. Even if I were to shake you all off and flee, Sacred Master Baekwon would simply send esteemed ones after me, or perhaps act personally. That person always seeks harmony with rulers. There's nothing I can do. Junjae approaches Han 1, relaxing his momentum, and laughs heartily. Good choice. We will all ensure that Penglai Palace is well preserved. As for the position of Palace Lord, we'll make sure it is passed on to the descendant you mentioned. Leave the position of Palace Lord vacant. There's a person it's reserved for. It's not my descendant, so don't bother looking. Understood. Then, thus, Han 1 calmly accepts the shackles handed to him by Junjae and the Grand Cultivators. Bound in what the Grand Cultivator Association insists on calling a palanquin, which is nothing more than a prison, Han 1 is transported to Cedarwood painting. When Han 1 arrives at Cedarwood painting, the first thing he sees is a familiar face. Why are you here? I've been chosen as the one to oversee you. From now on, you'll have to follow my orders. You dare? Han 1 stretches out his hand toward the figure before him, his face filled with rage. But nothing emerges from his hand. The woman before him, as if mocking him, speaks. The Sacred Master has forbidden your cultivation. From the moment you first breathed the air of Cedarwood painting, from the moment you first saw its light, you've become unable to escape from the Sacred Master's grasp. So don't bother resisting for no reason and come with me. Han 1. Here, you are no different from a mere mortal. Han 1 clenches his teeth to the point that blood seeps from his gums. The woman reflected in his eyes. Yun Wei, with a mocking expression, gestures casually and effortlessly drags Han 1 outside. Let me meet Sacred Master Unhyun. Jin Wei. That person is too busy to meet with the likes of you. From now on, live obediently as a farmer here. Spend your days reminiscing about your disgraceful time as a grand cultivator. And, without turning back to look at him, she adds, in Cedarwood painting, your death has also been forbidden. Even though your cultivation has been sealed, your lifespan remains the same. So, for hundreds of thousands of years, live clinging to the dirt, doing menial tasks. Having finished her words, she flicks her fingers, sending Han One flying to some location within the peaceful cloud continent. Wait. Han One tries to say something, but Yun Wei does not listen. Moments later, she looks back at the spot where Han One had been. Only the palanquin that had carried him remains. Wei, huh? It's been a long time since I've heard that. Foolish man. With a melancholy voice, she brushes her face with her hand. To remember that nickname and nothing else. Having sent Han One away, Yun Wei turns and flies into the sky. Before long, 1,200 years have passed since Xiao Unhyun became the sacred master. Above the skies of Cedarwood painting, among the 28 artificial stars, countless comrades have gathered at the one representing the ladle, Du star. It seems the human race will prosper. Yun Wei observes Xiao Unhyun's comrades from a distance and mutters softly. Kong Min-hee, who has reached the grand perfection star-shattering stage, is said to be challenging the sacred vessel advancement ritual today. Indeed, if it's esteemed one Kong, there's a high chance of success in advancing to the sacred vessel stage. Moreover, Great Master Young Hoon is not far from reaching the sacred vessel level as a heart tribe. Yes, on top of that, John Myung Hoon will soon challenge the star-shattering stage. He will likely succeed as well. If Sacred Master Unhyun assists, that will make 4 human race practitioners at the sacred vessel stage. It's a true blessing for the human race. There's also Great Master Kim Yun. Following a unique cultivation path, she has already become an existence comparable to the star-shattering stage. Soon, she might also reach the sacred vessel level. In the past 1,000 years of peace within the Middle Realms, numerous sacred vessel-level cultivators have emerged. It seems that the human race is now on the verge of seizing dominance over the sun and moon heavenly domain. Yun Wei speaks with an oddly dark expression. Yes, everyone will go on to live in this shining world. Senior Yun Wei, you speak as though you won't get to see this shining world yourself. Is it because of your lifespan? If it's Sacred Master Unhyun, surely he could extend your lifespan sufficiently? Well, I'm not sure about that. Yun Wei looks up at the sky, her face clouded with complex emotions. Xiao Unhyun is not a human, but a true immortal. Or perhaps a monster carrying the will of a true immortal. She knows even thinking such thoughts are dangerous. Sacred masters of the sacred vessel stage sometimes read the thoughts of the living beings in their world. However, she lets go of that worry somewhat. The fact that she has thought this thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of millions of times without incident means her dissatisfaction is being ignored. At any rate, this is what she believes. And, most likely, that person is connected to the higher existence who drove Han One mad. Having lived 40,000 years as an old monster of the human race is the one known as Yun Wei. She can infer at least that much. There's the phenomena extinguishing mantra that Xiao Unhyun occasionally uses. There's also the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. That's unknown when he acquired it. And the fact that he wields that technique with even more mastery than Han One. This is something she heard from Han One himself. Han One and his Penglai Palace are essentially a kind of priestly lineage that serves an ancient entity known as the Mountain God. The Mountain God bestowed the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique upon Penglai Palace and occasionally delivered revelations to guide them. According to Han One, while the Mountain God is not a well-known divine spirit like the chief god of the giant race, they are still a rather powerful deity among the divine spirits. And this means that other divine spirits cannot interfere with the priestly lineage that serves the Mountain God. Which means, the entity hidden behind the guise of Xiao Unhyun is either the Mountain God or a divine spirit closely related to them. And if that's the case, there is no way this being couldn't heal the mental illness rooted in Han One's mind. Yet, they captured Han One and left him neglected, allowing only Yun Wei to monitor him occasionally. This means, the being using the name Xiao Unhyun is merely enjoying the suffering of Han One and Yun Wei as entertainment. In reality, Xiao Unhyun would be startled when he reads her imagination from time to time, but as far as Yun Wei is concerned, her assumptions fit all too well. And if that assumption is true, Yun Wei sees no point in requesting a lifespan extension from Xiao Unhyun. What would I even accomplish by living longer? In the end, I'll just be continually toyed with by a true immortal. Even this thought is probably being read. I should just watch Han One's final moments as much as I can. Then, after Yun Jin reaches the 4-axis stage, pass on the 5 blessings axis through a forbidden technique and close my eyes. This is the future Yun Wei currently wishes for the most. For the past 1,000 years, Cedarwood painting has also been at peace with no incidents. The Candle Dragon race under your rule is thriving. There are no disputes among the humans, and devilish cultivators who possess disposition like me are nowhere to be seen. All races are at peace. There's no reason for me to continue living any longer. So you shouldn't worry either. Whatever troubles or concerns you have, they won't seem like a big deal in hindsight. Yunwei offers advice imbued with her life experience to Co Ran, who seems to have his own worries. And, listening to her words, Co Ran has a somewhat ambiguous expression. A time of peace, huh? Sacred Master, you are truly indifferent. Shurho grits his teeth as he glares at the being before him. Blood-red energy sweeps across the battlefield. The corpse mountain and sea river made from humans are being absorbed into a single entity. That entity has the upper body of a human, the lower body of a snake, and their face is obscured by a black mask created by a devilish spell. No matter how much you claim this is for helping Co Ran, how can you allow such hell to unfold? Though Shurho consumed humans once or twice in his past, he has never engaged in unnecessary massacres in all his years. But the being before him is different. As an ancestor of the Candle Dragon race, they leaped into the human world under the pretense of protecting their race, committing endless massacres to the point where there seems to be no solution, and incited war and chaos. An inherent great devil. That is the being before him. Co Hai, stop this at once. Don't you know that if Co Ran sees what you're doing, it will only make him sad? Ah, Mr. Shurho. Sorry, but to be honest, while I've thought about seducing Co Ran, I never really cared about winning his heart. I've only thought about mating with him once and being done with it. Whether Co Ran is saddened or not, if this draws his attention toward me, wouldn't that be even better? You lunatic. Shurho reveals his true form. Shurho's body, now grown large enough to cover a mountain range, glares down at Co Hai and growls. Do you intend to challenge me? Arrogant thing. You, merely at the grand perfection heavenly being level, act as though you're worth something. Co Hai, wearing a black mask, looks up at Shurho and cackles. How laughable. Don't bother flaunting your size. After all, in the decaying corpse realm where we live, whether you're at the 4-axis stage or integration stage, you cannot overcome the realm's pressure and unleash power beyond the heavenly being stage. Of course, you might be more adept at celestial energy guidance and attraction force than I am, but that's it. You can't beat me. Arrogant wench. Let's see if you can still spout such words after I rip your arms off and devour them. Ho ho. You just said Co Ran would be saddened by what I've done, didn't you? Allow me to return the sentiment. You can't kill me, because Co Ran would be sad. But I can kill you. After all, what I desire doesn't necessarily have to be Co Ran. You. Shurho growls, drawing forth a pure white aura. His power reverberates across the entire peaceful cloud continent, making the land hum. Co Hai looks up at that Shurho and smiles. How foolish. If you truly wanted to defeat me, you should have joined forces with Co Ran. Not when Co Ran and the other strong ones have risen to the 28 constellations. She gazes beyond Shurho, towards the higher sky. Not long ago, Co Ran had temporarily departed to the distant sky. He mentioned needing to greet Kong Minhee, a venerable senior of his sect. Are you not afraid of the Sacred Master? You dare harm this many living beings and reveal such rebellion towards me, who is not only the Sacred Master's comrade, but who also practically raised you. At those words, Co Hai sneers as she absorbs the blood on the battlefield. Gradually, a crimson whirlwind rises around her body. I certainly do fear a Sacred Vessel stage Sacred Master. After all, they are practically a god within their realm. However, that only applies to the mid-Sacred Vessel stage and higher. A mere early Sacred Vessel stage is overwhelmed by the flood of information they must process while overseeing their realm and is little more than a non-sentient deity. Shurho glares at her and growls. You? How do you know such things? Co Hai smiles faintly and responds. Memories of my past life. No, the memories of my original self are returning. Chwereric. The blood light around Co Hai clumps together, and the forms of countless immortal beasts begin to emerge. Arise, myriad spirits, earth immortal apparition. Simultaneously, the forms of numerous immortal beasts begin descending onto the land in their crimson appearances. Now that I've recovered my original memories, a bug like you can no longer stand against me. You mutt. Arrogant thing. In the next moment, two mighty beings of the demon race emanating murderous intent, Co Hai and Shurho, clash in a two-sided mountain range of the peaceful cloud continent. Earthquakes and tidal waves sweep across the entire continent as bloodlight and white radiance clash. Tatit. The two-sided mountain range of the peaceful cloud continent. Yunwei descends upon the area. As esteemed one Kong has begun her sacred vessel advancement ritual, I will now tell you. My life will soon come to an end. Though I could request an extension from the Sacred Master, know that I have decided to live out my remaining years as dictated by fate. And, Since I will soon depart, I ask that you take over my duties. Co ran and Ho nod, agreeing to her request. My mission from the Sacred Master is to monitor Han 1, a former integration stage Grand Cultivator. As the Sacred Master deemed this task significant, you must treat it as such. Understood. But where is he? Yunwei gestures to them, descending into the two-sided mountain range and walking towards a certain village. Arriving at a large manor in the village, she forms a hand seal and performs a simple concealment spell. Pot. The three figures vanish from the perception of mortals. Yunwei enters the large manor and points to a man seated on the floor, smoking a pipe with a stiff expression. That is Han 1. The Sacred Master sealed his cultivation and consciousness domain, turning him into a mortal. Even suicide has been forbidden, leaving him unable to die. He has since lived for centuries among mortals, engaging in trivial games of accumulating mortal wealth. How unfortunate. He was once a grand cultivator. Unfortunate. When Zhan Myonghun tried to rip Han 1 apart and kill him, the Sacred Master and I persuaded him to leave him in this state instead. That man played a significant role in the destruction of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect of the Bright Cold Realm. Do you even know how many times Zhan Myonghun, after learning the full truth and consumed by guilt, tried to storm Penglai Palace? Yunwei sighs and points at Han 1. Stopping him with all my strength if he ever attempts suicide or if someone else tries to kill him is the task I have carried. That is the mission I was assigned. Once I die, it will be your task. Yes, understood. But it seems that man is looking at us. Co Ran glances at Han 1, who appears to be staring in their direction. Yunwei shakes her head. You're mistaken. Look at his focus. He's watching the servants behind us as they work. As he's become immortal, he cannot see through our concealment spell. I see. Co Ran glances at Han 1, who stares lifelessly into the distance, and smiles bitterly for some reason. Elder Yunwei. What is it? I've heard that you were once close with Grand Cultivator Han in the past. If Grand Cultivator Han 1 were to come to his senses and repent, would you be able to accept him? Are you asking if a person can be fixed? Yunwei smiles bitterly and shakes her head. People cannot be fixed. Even if Han 1 were to regain his senses, 40,000 years. It has been 40,000 years of accumulated resentment. Even if a person can be fixed, you cannot fix what they have done. I will not take him back. At those words, Co Ran lets out a bitter smile. A person cannot be fixed, huh? The two-sided mountain range. No, the place that was once called the two-sided mountain range. Now it has become a flat plain, and there, soaked in blood and licking the blood that stained her body, stands Co Hai. She tastes the blood and smiles. You cross-dressing mutt. You've got a knack for running away, don't you? Next time I catch you, I won't let you off so easily. It's at that moment. Co Hai flinches and looks up at the sky. From above descends Co Ran, wearing a bitter smile. Co Hai sneers and raises a handful of fur that she ripped during her fight with Ho. Hello there, Co Ran. Long time no see. I just finished ripping apart a ton of that cross-dressing fox Ho's guts. If the curse lodged deep inside him isn't dispelled soon, his nascent soul will rot away and turn into a puddle of blood. You'd better hurry and save him. But Co Ran, looking calm and strangely sorrowful, only looks down at Co Hai. It seems I'll have to seal you. Huh. It's true that I'm at my weakest right now. She smiles faintly. Around Co Hai, streams of blood flow towards her and are absorbed into her body. But, Co Ran, do you think that's a wise decision? No matter how weakened I am from fighting Ho, someone like you has never been a match for me. Unless you bring monstrous freaks like Kong Min Hee or Xiao Un Hyun, or the other heavenly rejected, you won't stand a chance. Crunch, crackle. Finally, Co Hai's mask shatters into pieces. She smiles faintly and reveals her face once more. Her face has subtly changed from the one belonging to the Candle Dragon race she previously bore. That's right. It is Ohio's face. An innocent, pure, and clear face. Her radiant smile is so beautiful that it could shake the hearts of anyone who sees it, regardless of who they are. Since it wouldn't be fun to capture you here, I'll give you a chance, Co Ran. Go on, run away. Run away, and save Ho. I'll recover my strength and come hunt you down. Hurry, go on. But Co Ran silently mutters something in the direction Ho had fled, sending a voice transmission, before assuming a battle stance. The next moment, Co Ran clashes with Co Hai, who has regained Ohio's memories. The battle is decided quickly. Co Ran is unable to endure the overwhelming power of the countless immortal beasts controlled by Ohio and is defeated. Then, drenched in sticky blood, Co Hai approaches the restrained Co Ran and licks the blood trickling down his face. The blood of a half-human, half-dragon is quite good, Co Ran. Now then, it's all over, Co Huiol. I have succeeded in touching your soul. Hurry and return now to your original form. With a mocking grin, She grips Seo Rant's head. Of course, now that I have your main body, you'll have to receive some brainwashing from the light of the glass peacock. So, you reincarnated here for Seo Hui's plan, targeting me, Seo Hai. Ho ho, you could say that. Now, sleep peacefully. It's fortunate I didn't have to resort to drastic measures. Well then, Seo Hai. I am Oh Hai Seo Ran. I loved you. Ahaha. Are you trying to make me laugh until the end? As a parent, I loved you, Seo Hai. And even now, I still love you. Elder Yunwei said that people cannot be fixed, but you were my family. That alone, I cannot deny. In the past, even now, and perhaps, if I cannot let go, even in the future, as your parent, I will love you. Thank you for being my family until now, Seo Hai. Seo Ran smiles faintly, meeting Seo Hai's eyes. Oh Hai Seo looks at that Seo Ran with an expression of incomprehension. Pat it. Something black bursts out from Oh Hai Seo's body and enters Seo Ran's body, while a seven-colored light emanating from her makes his eyes glaze over. But in the next moment, thud, Seo Ran dies. The resurrection of Seo Hui that she anticipated doesn't happen. What? Why did he die? Seo Hui. Seo Hui? She calls out to Seo Hui in confusion, but the dead Seo Ran gives no response. As if Seo Ran already leapt into the netherworld through the ghost path method he learned, she cannot find a trace of Seo Ran's soul, even when she searches for it. As Oh Hai Seo's expression becomes increasingly filled with incomprehension, she shakes Seo Ran's corpse. Seo Hui. Seo Hui. Say something. Seo Hui. This is your main body, you know. Don't tell me you offered me up as a sacrifice to Seo Eunhyun's jaws. Answer me, Seo Hui. Yunwei, stepping out of Han1's house, sees Seo Ran suddenly shedding tears. Then, all of a sudden, Shurho is startled and turns furious, glaring at Seo Ran who collapsed on the spot. Seo Ran, how could you do something like this without even telling me? I'm sorry, Shurho. I'm sorry. Yunwei, unable to understand, asks the suddenly crying Seo Ran. Why are you crying all of a sudden? Seo Ran, with a sorrowful expression, answers through his tears. Elder said that people cannot be fixed. It seems you were right. Even until the end, I couldn't change her. I guess, I just wanted to believe. To believe that there was such a possibility. I mean, Elder's words are correct. Even if someone is fixed, the karma of their actions remains. Unless all of that karma can be undone, she will probably always remain as she is. What are you even saying? Just what? I apologize for rambling. I will explain it properly. With a sorrowful expression, Seo Ran thus proceeds to tell Yunwei everything. The constellations created during the star-shattering stage completely assimilate with the cultivator's heart essence when they reach the sacred vessel stage. And to assimilate with the heart essence means, in a way, to make the world one has built until now into one's dream. Amidst the torrent of overwhelming information, I slowly open my eyes. In my eyes, two worlds are reflected. One is the real Cedarwood painting that I rule over, enjoying an era of peace. And the other is the one created within my colorless sword enclosure, a dream world. The dream world is filled with a crimson light. In that world, Oh Hai Seo's main body who killed Seo Ran, the one chance to leave the dream world, now roams the desolate land where all living beings have perished, pathetically searching for Seo Hui. From the moment Oh Hai Seo reincarnated into Seo Hai's body, resolved to kill her first intelligent being, and just before she accomplished that murder, the worlds diverged. My dream, and the real Cedarwood painting. Everything in the world filled with Seo Hai's unleashed malevolence is, in truth, a fabrication of my imagination. Every character in that world, except for Shurho and Seo Ran, were fundamentally no different from the heart demons within my heart essence. Oh Hai Seo may have thought she cleverly infiltrated under the guise of a fragment, following Seo Hui's will, scheming her malicious plans, but she has never once escaped my grasp from the beginning. The fact that she came as her main body rather than a fragment was something I discerned from the start, and as soon as she exhibited unusual behavior, I isolated her immediately within my dream. I erased all the living beings within my dream world, condemning her to wander forever through the desolate, blood-soaked wasteland. Her original cultivation realm is the integration stage. The chance given to her is now over. Oh Hai Seo will wander that wasteland for tens of thousands of years, until she ages and dies of old age. Is that all? I ask, turning to Seo Hui, who is watching Oh Hai Seo's actions alongside me with a hardened expression. Chapter 513, God of Cedarwood Painting. Summit of Glass Cedarwood Mountain. Before the jade throne of glass, surrounded by polar lights and mist, two figures stand facing each other. A man dressed in white, seated as if gazing down upon the world, and a man in blue robes, expressionless, looking up at the one sitting on the throne. 219,523 times. No, It's 24 now. This is the number of methods you've used to try and retrieve Ran from me. Not a single one has succeeded, and even the last resort you sent in, Ohaisio's main body, is now as good as in my grasp. What will you do now? What is left for you? The man in white, Seo Eunhyun speaks, looking down at the expressionless figure before him, Seo Huil. Seo Huil speaks with a dry expression. I understand that you care for Ran. I also now know that the threats you used against me before were lies. You cannot kill Ran, isn't that right? That's right. Seo Eunhyun acknowledges it plainly. So what will you do now? He chuckles. I am already a sacred master. In this domain, I am no different from a true immortal. Do you think I will lose Ran to the likes of you? If I exhaust all of me, even you, a sacred master, would not be able to guarantee victory, no? Seeing the great Seo Huil speaking with such a long tongue, it seems you really have no cards left to play. Kiki, go ahead. Consume thousands, hundreds of millions, trillions, tens of quadrillions of Seo Huils to try and brainwash me along with this entire world. But I'll use the moment you exhaust yourself to contact Blood Een and expose every last danger you pose. At Seo Eunhyun's words, Seo Huil lowers his gaze. At your current state, you might be able to impose some restrictions on Blood Een with the groundwork you've laid. But if you exhaust everything on someone like me, only to face Blood Een afterward, haha, you'd be blown apart and killed by Blood Een. No matter how much of a laughingstock he is still a true immortal. This is a testimony from Seo Eunhyun, who has personally faced Blood Een. While it may be a slight underestimation, it is by no means an exaggerated assessment. Swear your loyalty to me, standing before the black ancient paper, and vow it upon your main body. Then, confess your past to me. If you do, I will help you to the extent I can and help you achieve your goal. I will even assist you in washing away your sin. Seo Eunhyun extends his hand towards Seo Huil. Follow me, Seo Huil. I truly detest you. You disgust me so much that I want to kill you. But, I'm still willing to give you a chance. If you follow me, you will eventually be forgiven, and one day, you will be able to perfectly achieve your goal. From his perspective, this is an extraordinary concession. Even though Seo Eunhyun has only suffered greatly at Seo Huil's hands, he can't ignore the wretched sight he had witnessed in his past life. The sight of Seo Huil being rewritten into a blue earthworm. Moreover, one of the processes for achieving Seo Huil's goal is brainwashing the head realm, which is tied to the origin of Seo Eunhyun and the other Enders. Through that goal, they might be able to reveal the secrets related to them. Seo Huil smiles. I will cooperate. You're planning something again. Fine, struggle all you want. The next moment, Seo Huil fires a beam of dense blood energy directly towards Seo Eunhyun's chest. Quang. With that as the beginning, the portion of Seo Huil standing before him explodes. Red beams shoot out from Seo Huil's entire body, dyeing the surroundings. Snap. However, the moment Seo Eunhyun snaps his fingers, the beams vanish without a trace. Seo Eunhyun's eyes twitch. Tainted soul filling the heavens again. Well, it's adequate as a smokescreen. And are these the Blood Een realm's devilish spells? Chi 3. Seo Eunhyun clears away the Blood Een realm's devilish energy attempting to corrode his surroundings, then grabs at the void. Clench. In the next moment, fragments of Seo Huil's tainted soul filling the heavens, hidden in the darkness, are all pulled together by attraction force, gathering before Seo Eunhyun. The fragments reassemble into the form of Seo Huil. Give up. You can no longer surpass me. Seo Huil smiles faintly. Do you know why there's no average when it comes to the strength of those at the sacred vessel stage? It's because we have no true substance. Seo Eunhyun responds casually. We, whose personalities have become immortal arts itself, are now beings that should be called the flow of the universe. Though, as far as flows go, we're incredibly fragile. Of course, compared to ordinary living beings, we far exceed even natural disasters, but from a cosmic perspective, we're merely specks of dust ready to be swept away at any moment. Since we lack substance, we must inhabit ourselves to something to cultivate our incorporeal selves. Whether it's the middle realms, the decaying corpse realms, the stellar systems, or even the will of a true immortal, becoming immortal treasures acting on their behalf, it doesn't matter. Only by inhabiting something can we gain substance. As Seo Eunhyun's explanation continues, the laws of Cedarwood painting begin to bind Seo Huil. And because we have no substance, we can connect to anything. We can connect to other sacred vessels, sacred masters, and even entering nirvana true persons. We can connect to esteemed ones or grand cultivators we know, and even brats at the 4-axis stage or below that we're aware of, even to places and true immortals that we know of. If we connect to a stronger existence, we might be captured and turned into an immortal treasure, but if that's not the case, we can simply borrow their power. That's why, depending on where we inhabit, the knowledge we possess, and the relationships we've built, our combat power varies so greatly that there's no consistent average. Co Huil nods at these words. You are outstanding. Because we can so easily connect with those we know, we can borrow power anytime, anywhere. This is something that true persons who possess substance cannot achieve. Now then, let me pose a question. If we can connect to others, can we also connect others to each other? What do you think? At this, Co Eunhyun flinches in surprise and turns his gaze somewhere else. Huh. So this is the kind of scheme you have prepared. As expected of Co Huil. Co Eunhyun lets out a small exclamation of admiration as he looks somewhere. That place is within Co Eunhyun's colorless sword enclosure. A world unfolded with an endless land stained with blood. There, seeing Oh Hyeseo wandering around and doing something, Co Eunhyun grins. She is communicating with somewhere through her abilities. Now that I think about it, that's how it was. Co Eunhyun's eyes gleam. Oh Hyeseo, at first glance, appeared to have arrived at Cedarwood painting as a fragment. However, upon closer inspection, she was revealed to be her main body. In that case, how did she manage to deceive Co Eunhyun at the start? The method isn't particularly difficult. This is because outside Cedarwood painting, she connected herself to an existence with a presence far greater than her own. Because there is an existence whose presence is so overwhelmingly vast compared to hers, she was mistaken for a mere fragment. Is she connecting to that being with the enormous presence? Does she perhaps intend to summon an existence of the true immortal rank? And in the next moment, the entirety of Cedarwood painting trembles violently. Co Eunhyun coughs up heaven and earth's spiritual energy. Kihyok. Kuwung. A hazy vapor-like something instantly blankets the sky of Cedarwood painting. This vapor does not stop at Cedarwood painting. It also engulfs Co Eunhyun's colorless sword enclosure in one go. Gritting her teeth, Oh Hyeseo shouts while staring at the vapor. I, human Oh Hyeseo, humbly call upon the progenitor god, Pangu, Pungu. O High Spirit Grand Tao Nine Heavens, overseeing fate, preserving life, celestial great emperor, please hear me. As I fulfilled the oath I previously swore, as the master of oaths and contracts, please return my flesh to me. The next moment, O Hyeseo's soul is forcibly extracted from the body of the candle dragon race she inhabits in Cedarwood painting. Her soul begins rapidly flying towards some far-off place in the distant reaches of the universe. Witnessing this scene, Co Eunhyun realizes what Co Huil and Oh Hyeseo have done. Did you borrow the power of the owner of names from the very beginning? I see. From the start, Oh Hyeseo's soul was removed from her original body and that empty shell was filled with the power of the owner of names. While the power of the owner of names occupied her body, Oh Hyeseo acted as Co High and borrowed the power of oaths to set up the plan to escape through retrieving her body through a ritual worship whenever needed. Hara! Co Eunhyun laughs as if finding it amusing. Indeed, even Co Eunhyun cannot stop Oh Hyeseo from being drawn away by the power of the owner of names. However, Co Eunhyun grins while forming a wheel, behind his head. Kariric. The wheel begins to spin. Impressive. Truly worthy of your reputation, Co Huil. Then, Co Eunhyun extends his hand. Do-do-do-do-do-do. The colorless sword enclosure, which had been containing Oh Hyeseo until just moments ago, begins to transform. Borrowing the power of Cedarwood painting, a portion of the colorless sword enclosure flickers into reality. If only your opponent was not me, Oh Hyeseo would have very well escaped. Oh Hyeseo rapidly flies through the cosmic space, heading towards her main body. Co Huil said this. No matter how much of an extraordinary sacred master Co Eunhyun may be, he cannot completely block the power of the owner of names. Even if you are captured at the final moment, you will still be able to escape. What will you do? She has never trusted Co Huil, not even once. She only acted for Co Huil when she herself determined that it is logical and reasonable, and when she calculated that there would be no harm to her. This time was no exception. The escape plan Co Huil proposed, the circumstances he faced, the reward he promised, and the benefits she stood to gain from taking part, all were too enticing to refuse. Yes, based on Co Huil's judgment and Oh Hyeseo's own verification, she should have been safe. But, Oh Hyeseo, I will relay this for the last time. Fragment your soul according to my instructions and scatter it immediately. That is the only hope we have. Don't talk nonsense. You said it would be safe. And if I fragment my soul to the extent you're saying, who would be the main body? My very being will disappear. There's no time. Hurry. You said I would be safe. You said. However, as she leaps across hundreds of light years, Oh Hyeseo notices something chasing her soul from behind. What is that? It's an arm. A sword made of glass. A massive arm, composed of glass, with countless swords protruding from it, leaps across hundreds of light years to pursue her. Stay away. I said stay away. Ohio's soul turns pale as she summons countless forms of immortal beasts around her. As much as her main body, her consciousness domain, and the level of her soul itself have all risen to a higher realm than before. The forms of immortal beasts she summons also appear far more powerful and imposing than ever. Moreover, since this cosmic space is outside Seo Eunhyun's world, it's a situation where he should not be able to exert absolute power here. Ohhyeseo. Hua. Ohio screams in terror and sends the forms of immortal beasts towards the arm, pursuing her. But it is futile. The forms of immortal beasts are all shredded apart, and the arm rips through the light and projection of the glass peacock before intensely pursuing her. Monster bastard, why are you chasing me? This fucking reptilian bastard wearing a human mask since Earth. When Ohio followed Seo Huiol's instructions and possessed the body of Seo Eunhyun's descendant, she was confronted with an utterly terrifying revelation. The descendant of Seo Eunhyun, who had been her companion back on Earth, turned out to be a bizarre and grotesque monster called the Candle Dragon race. Although Seo Eunhyun had shown a somewhat absent-minded appearance back on Earth, she had at least believed him to be of the Homo sapiens species. But for Seo Eunhyun's descendant, to be a monster who's only human in face while everything below is a snake? From a logical standpoint, there is only one conclusion. Seo Eunhyun must have been a reptilian wearing a human mask and acting the entire time since Earth. We were all being deceived by that monster bastard. That guy was a monster from the very beginning. Possessing the ability to trace the origins of immortal beast bloodlines, Ohio so very easily tracked the origin of the Candle Dragon race. And her ability identified Seo Eunhyun as a being who is fundamentally no different from the Candle Dragon race. Stay away, you monster. The form of the immortal beast Supreme Tiger roars and lunges toward the arm. But the arm tears apart the form of the Supreme Tiger in an instant and resumes its pursuit of her. Now, the distance between the arm and her is only 10 li. Gradually, the arm draws closer. 9 li. At this rate, it's going to follow me all the way to where my main body is. No, Seo Huiol, that useless bastard. He said he wouldn't be able to chase me this far, but he was completely wrong. The form of the immortal beast Black Dragon charges at the arm. A massive dragon wave, imbued with the power of Tying, pushes Seo Eunhyun back. However, 999 ghostly heads seem to sprout from Seo Eunhyun's arm, devouring all the Een energy before resuming its pursuit of Ohio. 8 li. Ohio feels her legs trembling from the horror. Having the curiosity to uncover everything about the other person, starting from the teeth, is who Ohio is. So of course, she is already aware of the shape of Seo Eunhyun and his comrade's skulls. Crazy bastard. Is he using his own 999 skulls as a spell? He's a madman who cut off his own head 999 times to make this happen. Completely insane. 7 li. Once again, Seo Eunhyun's arm draws closer. The searing glass true fire flickers, emitting a powerful attraction force that pulls Ohio towards it. No. That glass true fire really hurts. Even the inferior flame of the Candle Dragon race almost killed me when it touched my soul. If this is the real glass true fire, there's no way I can resist it. The heat of the glass true fire already stings her soul, and her mind starts to falter. Endure the heat of the glass true fire with the power of the Candle Dragon race? No way. The master of the Candle Dragon race is that reptilian bastard. I'd be caught right away. In that case, the forms of the immortal beasts Azure Pung and white-winged Heavenly Pegasus wrap around Ohio. Her speed towards her main body begins to accelerate even further. Seo Eunhyun's arm also appears to be gradually falling behind. But in the next moment, Wai Yang, the three great ultimates rise atop the arm, narrowing the distance with Ohio once more. 5 li. Her mind feels like it's about to collapse from terror and the heat of the glass true fire. Seo Huiol, do something. I'm also caught. Useless bastard. Cursing Seo Huiol, she frantically hurls the forms of other immortal beasts and self-destructs them. Even though her origin is being damaged, the arm seems utterly unaffected, steadily closing the distance. Freely. Seo Eunhyun, let's talk for a moment. Actually, I knew all along that you and Kong Min-hee were dating, okay? You liked me, didn't you? Isn't that right? 2 li. She tries to tempt Seo Eunhyun with all sorts of sweet words and flattery, but as expected, they don't work in the slightest. The distance continues to close, leaving only 1 li remaining. Ohio grits her teeth, her heart sinking as though weeping tears of blood. I have to use that. I followed Seo Huiol's words and took risks all for that, but I'm about to waste it all here. Feeling wronged, she bites her lips tightly in her spirit form. Now, Seo Eunhyun's massive arm is only Tinjong away from her. She spreads her arms wide in her spirit form and shouts, I humbly request to the High Spirit, Grand Tao Nine Heavens, overseeing fate, preserving life, celestial great emperor. I beseech, reveal thee power. In the next moment, hazy vapor rises wildly around her. Then, a vaporous arm, far larger than Seo Eunhyun's arm, manifests and clenches its fist. Seo Eunhyun's arm seems to flinch. Oh Hyeseo smirks and shouts, even if it's you, against this being's power. But at that very moment, Pbyong, Seo Eunhyun's arm, so very easily pierces through the arm of the owner of names. Plowing through the vapor without resistance, Seo Eunhyun's arm relentlessly advances towards Oh Hyeseo. Seeing this scene, Oh Hyeseo feels her mind freeze completely. It feels as though the afterimage of Seo Eunhyun fleetingly passes before her eyes. Seo Eunhyun was looking down at her with an arrogant gaze. There's no escape. The gap between them has already grown too vast. Not even Seo Huiol is of any help, and no matter how much power she wields or borrows from others, Seo Eunhyun has already surpassed all of it. I can't escape. She grinds her teeth. There is no escape. In that case, there is only one thing she can do. The arm of the owner of names, which is pitifully being torn apart, as if its affinity clashes with the power of the candle dragons. It is being shredded by the hazy mist emanating from Seo Eunhyun's arm, but its sheer mass buys Oh Hyeseo a sliver of time. Oh Hyeseo watches the scene and grits her teeth. Chua. In the next moment, she tears apart her spirit form. She must do as Seo Huiol instructed. Split soul. At the very least, she must let her split soul escape. Oh Hyeseo extracts every bit of power from the owner of the name's vapor and the other immortal beasts, stuffing it all into her fragment, and launches the fragment towards her original body. Pot. Perhaps because its mass has been reduced, Oh Hyeseo's fragment moves much faster and lighter, soon disappearing from her sight. Puek. Immediately after, Seo Eunhyun's arm finally tears through the vapor and envelopes Oh Hyeseo. With a face really clouded with emotions, Oh Hyeseo opens her mouth. You won, you monster. Clench. Seo Eunhyun's arm seizes the soul of Oh Hyeseo's main body. Every scheme devised by Seo Huiol and Oh Hyeseo has crumbled. Only a portion of her soul that she split and sent away, the soul of Seo Hai, manages to return to her main body, leaving a faint glimmer of hope against the god of Cedarwood painting.